The night stretches wide, and time no longer counts. You don't know what hour it is, and it doesn't matter anymore. There is only this moment unfolding like the slow opening of a lotus in the dark. The air is thick with stillness, each breath carrying you deeper into a space beyond thought, where nothing is demanded of you. There are no distractions here, no past or future. Only this sacred silence wrapping you like a soft blanket. You are sitting in a quiet, dimly lit room. The flicker of a single candle casts gentle shadows on the walls. The only sound is the soft, rhythmic movement of your breath, the air flowing in and out, a constant reminder of the present moment. You feel the weight of your body, the ground beneath you firm, yet the world seems to be suspended in a tranquil suspension, as if nothing could disturb the peacefulness of this space. It is as though the entire world has slowed down just for you, allowing you to simply be. In the distance, you can hear the faint sound of a bell ringing its tones, reverberating through the still air, calling you to attention. The sound is not loud, but it is clear, an invitation to settle even deeper into this moment. With each breath, you feel yourself sinking further into stillness, as though you are becoming one with the room, the air, the very silence itself. And then a story comes to you. A story told long ago by a Zen master who lived in a time before time, when the world was still young and full of mystery. He spoke of a man who was wandering through the forest, seeking enlightenment. The man had traveled far, hoping to find the answers he had longed for. But the forest was dense, and the path unclear. For days he wandered, growing weary and uncertain. Finally, he came upon a small clearing where a wise old monk sat beneath a tree, his eyes closed in peaceful meditation. The man approached him and asked, "Master, how can I find the way to enlightenment?" The monk opened his eyes, and for a long moment he simply looked at the man. Then he said, "The way is already here within you. You need only stop searching to see it." The man was puzzled. "But I have traveled far. I have sought wisdom in many places. How can I stop searching when I have not yet found what I seek?" The monk smiled gently. "You have been looking outward, trying to find something that can only be found within. The moment you stop searching, you will realize that you were already home." And so the man sat with the monk, and in the stillness of that moment, he found what he had been seeking all along. Not through effort or striving, but simply through surrender to the present. What remains when nothing is left to seek? Perhaps the answer lies in the stillness itself, the very essence of who you are, waiting patiently beneath the noise of the world. As you sit here now, breathing softly, allow yourself to feel that stillness, that peace. Let go of any remaining thoughts, any expectations. Just be here in this moment, breathing gently in and out. There is nothing to prove, nothing to achieve. Only this simple act of being. And in this simplicity, there is a quiet wisdom that flows through you, reminding you that everything you need is already within your grasp. The room remains as it was silent, steady, timeless, yet it feels alive with the energy of the present moment. There is no urgency here, no place to go, no path to follow. You simply are existing in the vastness of this endless night, where the boundaries between you and the world blur and dissolve. The air is cool, but the warmth of your own breath fills the space around you, offering a gentle comfort that reminds you of your connection to this life, to this moment. As your mind continues to settle, another thought drifts by, a teaching from an ancient Zen master. The story is simple but profound. A monk was walking along a narrow mountain path, deep in thought, when he came across an old woman carrying a heavy bundle of firewood on her back. She struggled with the weight, her body bent low under the load. Without hesitation, the monk asked, "Would you like me to carry that for you?" The woman paused, looking up at him with a sharp gaze, and replied, "You, a monk who is supposed to be free from attachment, offer to carry my burden. Is that not the very thing you are supposed to avoid?" The monk smiled, acknowledging the truth in her words. "Indeed, I seek to free myself from attachments. But what is more freeing than helping another without hesitation, without thought of myself?" The old woman nodded slowly, understanding his words. She stepped aside, and the monk took the bundle of firewood onto his shoulders, carrying it with ease. The woman walked beside him, quiet but content. At the end of the journey, the monk set down the bundle and said, "Now I am free." The woman smiled, her eyes twinkling with wisdom. You are free when you see that there is no burden, only the act of living and helping each other. The monk understood. True freedom is not in avoiding the weight of life, but in accepting it and offering your strength to others without attachment, without self. The true burden is not what you carry, but how you carry it, whether with a heart open to others or one closed off in fear of being burdened. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, what burdens are you carrying in your life? And how might you let go of the weight of attachment? Perhaps it is not the burden that causes suffering, but the way you hold it. What if you could carry everything with the lightness of a heart, unburdened by fear or expectation? Could this be the way to true freedom? In the stillness around you, the world is no longer something to conquer, but simply something to experience. It is as if you are beginning to remember that there is nothing outside of yourself, no mountain to climb, no firewood to carry, no destination to reach. All of it, everything is here now, in this moment, in this breath. Let that understanding sink deeper into your being, like the gentle rhythm of the waves lapping against the shore. You are not separate from the world. You are the world unfolding in the quiet stillness of your heart. Breathe deeply and know that you are exactly where you need to be. In this moment, there is nothing more to do, nothing more to become than what you already are. And in that realization, there is peace. There is rest. There is the simple truth that all is well just as it is. The stillness deepens, the silence grows richer, as though it is inviting you to sink deeper still into its embrace. Each breath you take is an invitation, a gentle pull toward the heart of the moment. There is nothing outside of this moment, nothing to seek. Everything you need is already present, already within. The very act of being is enough. No more striving, no more needing, just this soft, unfolding quiet. A story from another time appears in your mind, a story told by a wandering Zen monk who had seen many things yet never lost his sense of peace. He had journeyed through the valleys and mountains of the land, seeking knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But one evening, as the sun dipped low behind the peaks, he found himself sitting by a quiet stream with only the sound of the water flowing to keep him company. A traveler weary from his own journey came upon him and asked, "Master, I have heard much about your wisdom, and I have traveled far to find you. What is the one truth that can guide me, that can bring peace to my heart?" The monk looked at the traveler, his eyes calm and steady, and said, "The one truth is simple. Everything changes. The stream will not flow in the same way tomorrow, and neither will you. But in this moment, the water flows as it always has. There is nothing to fix, nothing to chase. Only the moment, always changing, always here." The traveler was silent, his mind racing as he tried to understand. "But Master, how do I live with this truth? If everything is always changing, how can I find peace?" The monk smiled softly and said, "Peace is not found in the things that change, but in the ability to rest in the flow of change itself. When you stop clinging to what is past and stop reaching for what is yet to come, you will see that peace is already here, in the changing, in the becoming." And so the traveler sat beside the monk, watching the stream flow quietly. And in that silence he felt a shift deep within himself. He no longer needed to hold on to the past, nor worry about the future. In the gentle flow of the water, he realized that peace was not something to be grasped. It was something to be lived in each moment, just as it was. This story too brings a question to mind. How often do you find yourself clinging to the past or grasping for the future, thinking that peace lies somewhere other than here? What would it be like to let go even for just a moment and allow the flow of life to carry you as it will? To trust that peace is always with you, even in the midst of change. As you sit here in the quiet of your own heart, breathe gently and let the waters of change wash over you. There is no need to hold on, no need to resist. Just as the stream flows effortlessly, so too can you flow with life. Let go of the need to control and instead allow yourself to simply be part of the natural rhythm of things. In that release, you may find that you are no longer struggling to find peace. It has always been here within you, flowing like a stream. The air around you grows still again, and the room returns to its tranquil silence. There is no rush now, no goal. You need only to breathe, and in each breath you are reminded that peace is not something outside of you. It is within, already waiting to be discovered. And in this discovery, you rest. You are home. The air is still and the quiet deepens as though the world itself has paused just for you. Each breath you take is a bridge to something vast and unspoken, something timeless that resides within you. There are no distractions here, no expectations, just the simple rhythm of the present moment. In the stillness, the essence of your being is revealed clear and undisturbed, like a lake reflecting the moon on a cloudless night. A thought drifts gently into your awareness, a story once shared by a Zen master, known for his profound simplicity. He lived in a small, secluded temple on a mountain far from the bustle of the world. One day, a student eager to learn and filled with questions came to him and asked, "Master, what is the essence of Zen? What is it that I must understand in order to find peace?" The master sat in silence for a long moment, his eyes closed as if waiting for the right moment to speak. Finally, he said, "The essence of Zen is not something you can learn through words or thoughts. It is something you must experience. It is the space between each breath, the stillness between each thought. It is what remains when you stop searching, stop striving, and simply rest in the present moment." The student was perplexed. "But Master, how can I experience it if I do not understand it? How can I find peace if I do not know what to look for?" The master smiled softly, his gaze calm and understanding. "You are already looking. That is the problem. You do not need to search for peace, it is already here in the space between each breath. Peace is not found in the future nor in the past, but in the present moment, where everything is just as it should be." The student, still confused, sat quietly beside the master, allowing the silence to settle around them. And in that silence, something shifted within him. The search for peace began to dissolve. In its place was a quiet realization: peace was not something to be found, but something to be recognized here and now. In this stillness, you too are invited to pause for a moment. Let go of the need to seek to understand or to change anything. Simply rest in the space between each breath in the quiet that surrounds you. This is the essence of Zen, not in the pursuit of something outside of you, but in the quiet recognition of what is already present within. What remains when you stop seeking? Breathe gently, letting your awareness sink deeper into the silence. There is no rush, no expectation, just the calm, peaceful rhythm of being. In this space, there is nothing to do, nothing to prove. You are already whole, already complete as you are right here, right now. The gentle rhythm of your breath continues flowing in and out, in and out. Each inhale brings you deeper into the present moment, and each exhale releases any tension that may remain in your body, your mind, your heart. There is no need to hold on to anything. Just let everything flow. And in that flow, you are free. In this freedom, there is peace. It is not a peace that comes and goes, but a peace that is always here, waiting to be recognized. Just as the moon is always in the sky, even when it is hidden by clouds, so too is peace always with you, even when it is obscured by the distractions of life. But when you stop searching, stop striving, you will see it shining softly in the stillness of your heart. Let go now and rest. You have arrived. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just breathe and be. In this moment, all is well. The stillness deepens further, as though the world itself is holding its breath, waiting with you in this quiet, sacred space. There is no need for anything more. No thoughts to chase, no actions to take. You simply are here and now in this moment that is both endless and fleeting, like the fading echo of a bell that has already sounded. A story arises gently, as if carried by the wind. It is a simple story told by an old Zen master who lived in a village where the seasons changed slowly, each one blending into the next, like the quiet movement of a river. One evening, as the sun dipped low behind the mountains, a young monk approached the master and asked, "Master, what is the secret to peace?" The master looked at the young monk, his eyes filled with kindness, and said, "The secret to peace is not in seeking it, but in accepting what is. You see, peace is not a thing you can hold in your hands, nor a place you can go. It is the act of allowing yourself to simply be just as you are in this moment." The monk was confused. "But Master, how can I accept what is if I do not understand it? How can I be at peace when the world is so full of suffering?" The master smiled gently as the evening breeze rustled the leaves around them. "The world is full of change, and it is true that suffering exists. But peace is not the absence of suffering. It is the ability to be present with what is without resistance, without judgment. When you accept the world as it is, you will find that peace is already here within you, waiting to be realized." The young monk thought for a moment and then asked, "But how do I accept what is? How do I stop fighting against the world and myself?" The master did not answer immediately. Instead, he stood up and walked to the edge of the village where the river flowed quietly through the fields. He motioned for the monk to follow him. As they stood there watching the river flow gently by, the master said, "Look at the river. It does not fight against the stones, nor does it struggle against the wind. It flows with what is accepting every curve, every rock, every bend in its path. It does not seek to change what is, but simply moves with it." The monk watched in silence the river's steady flow, calming his mind. After a long while, the master turned to him and said, "In the same way, you must flow with the currents of life. Do not resist what comes. Do not fight against what is. Accept each moment as it is, and peace will follow." And so the monk sat by the river, and as he sat, he felt the truth of the master's words sinking deeply into his heart. He realized that peace was not something to chase, but something to surrender to in each moment. As you sit now, breathing softly, reflect on this truth. How often do you find yourself resisting the flow of life, fighting against what is, wishing for things to be different? What would it be like to release that resistance to flow with life as it comes, to accept the moments, the thoughts, the feelings, just as they are without judgment or expectation. There is peace in that acceptance. Not because the world is perfect, but because in accepting what is, you return to the present moment. You return to yourself. Breathe deeply and let go of anything you are holding on to. There is nothing more to do now. Just let everything flow. In that flow, you will find peace. In that flow, you will find yourself always here, always now. The quiet of the room seems to expand, as though the very walls are breathing with you. Each inhale is deep, slow, filling you with a sense of calm that permeates every corner of your being. Each exhale releases whatever remains within you, a subtle surrender, a quiet letting go. There is no rush now, no destination. You are simply present in this moment, held in the peace of being. A story comes softly to mind, an ancient tale told by a Zen master to his students one evening as the sun began to set and the air turned cool. The master spoke of a traveler who, weary from his long journey, came upon a small temple high in the mountains. The traveler was searching for answers to the questions that weighed heavily on his heart. When he arrived, he asked the head monk master, "I have traveled far seeking wisdom and understanding. What is the most important thing I must know in order to find peace?" The head monk, who had lived many years in silence, looked at the traveler with kind, steady eyes. After a long pause, he simply said, "The most important thing you must know is that peace is not something defined. It is something you must allow to unfold within you." The traveler, confused by the simplicity of the answer, asked, "But Master, how can I allow peace to unfold if I do not know how I have searched far and wide for this peace? But it always seems just beyond my grasp." The monk smiled, his expression filled with warmth. "You are searching for peace, as if it were a distant place, a destination. But peace is not something outside of you, it is already within you, just as the sun is always in the sky, even when clouds obscure it. Your mind, filled with thoughts and distractions, is like the cloud covering the sun. But when you quiet the mind, when you let go of your constant striving, the peace within you will emerge just as the sun shines through the clouds." The traveler sat in silence, contemplating the monk's words. As the hours passed, the evening sky darkened and the stars appeared one by one. He watched the stillness around him and felt something inside begin to shift. The struggle to find peace started to fade, replaced by a deep understanding. Peace was never something to chase, but something to embrace. And so the traveler sat with the monk through the night, simply being. No more searching, no more asking, just being present with the moment. And in that quiet acceptance, the peace he had longed for began to fill him slowly but surely, like a river gently rising to meet its banks. As you sit now in the stillness of this moment, reflect on the same truth. How often do you search for peace, as though it were something distant, something outside of yourself? What would it be like to stop searching and simply allow peace to emerge? just as it is already present within you. Breathe deeply, and with each breath, invite that peace to rise up from within. There is nothing to do now, nothing to prove, only to be. And in that being, you will find the peace that has always been with you. You are not separate from it, nor is it hidden from you. It is here in the stillness, in the simplicity, in the space between each breath. And as you sit in this peace, let go of any last remnants of thought, of striving, of wanting. Let it all dissolve into the quiet rhythm of your breath. In this moment, you are complete, you are whole, and you are at peace. There is nothing more to seek, only to rest. The quiet deepens, settling over you like a soft, warm blanket. There is no more striving, no more reaching, just the pure stillness of this moment, held in the gentleness of your breath. The air around you is cool, and yet inside you feel a steady warmth. A warmth that is not of the body, but of the heart, like the quiet glow of a lantern in the night. As you breathe, there is a sense of expanding inward, a soft unfolding of your own being. It is as though you are sinking into the earth beneath you, becoming part of the very ground you sit on. Yet you remain untouched, a still observer of it all. There is no need to move, no need to hurry. Everything is exactly as it should be in this moment, as it has always been. A story rises gently, one that you may have heard before, but this time it is different. The words feel new, as if they are being spoken directly to you. It is a story of a Zen master who, despite being known far and wide for his wisdom, had one simple lesson to share with his students. One evening, after the day's meditation had ended, he asked his students to gather around him. When they had gathered, he said, "I will give you a teaching, one that contains the whole of Zen." The students leaned in, eager to hear, thinking the master would offer them some profound or complex wisdom. But the master simply held up his hand, palm open, and said, "This is the teaching. When you understand this, you will understand everything." The students looked at each other, puzzled, unsure of what to make of such a simple gesture. The master smiled softly at their confusion and continued, "You have been seeking with your minds, striving to understand with your thoughts. But true wisdom does not come from the mind, it comes from the heart. This hand, open and empty, is a symbol of how you must live. Not grasping, not holding, but open to whatever comes, without attachment, without resistance." The students were silent, and in that silence, the weight of the master's words began to settle in. They realized that the seeking, the striving, the constant effort to understand were all distractions. What truly mattered was not in the mind, but in the heart, where peace could be found, not through effort, but through acceptance. And so the master asked them to sit quietly, simply being with the open hand, letting go of all thoughts, all desires. And in that moment, the students understood. It was not the things they sought that would bring peace, but the ability to be present with what was without clinging to it. As you sit now, take a moment to consider the open hand. What does it represent to you? What would it be like to live in this way, open, empty, and without resistance to whatever arises? In the stillness of your heart, there is nothing to hold on to, nothing to fear, nothing to prove. There is only the peace that comes when you let go of the need to control and simply rest in the present moment. Breathe deeply, and with each breath, imagine yourself opening like that hand, letting go of any last traces of tension or expectation. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to chase. You are here, and that is enough. In this moment, there is no need for more. You are already complete, already whole. Simply allow yourself to be, and in that being, you will find the peace you have been seeking. The air grows still, and the space around you feels vast and infinite. Yet it is also intimate, as if the entire world has come to rest with you in this moment. You are part of everything, yet nothing is required of you. You are simply here, breathing in the present, and in that breath, the world is whole. The stillness deepens, as if the night itself is cradling you gently in its embrace. The world outside is distant, faded, and all that remains is this moment, infinite and whole. Each breath is a delicate dance, moving in and out like the tide, coming and going, never rushing, never hurrying, just flowing effortlessly. A memory arises not from the past, but from a deeper place. A place where time and space do not exist. It is a story that echoes through the ages, one that has been shared by Zen masters to those who seek peace in a world that often seems chaotic and restless. The story speaks of a monk who, after years of seeking enlightenment, wandered into a remote valley. He came across an old woman sitting quietly by the side of a well. Her face was wrinkled with age, but her eyes shone with a light that seemed to pierce through the surface of things, as though she could see into the heart of all that is. The monk, eager to find wisdom, approached her and asked, "I have traveled many miles seeking the truth. I have studied the scriptures, meditated in silence, and yet I have not found the peace I seek. What am I missing?" The woman looked at him for a long moment, and then simply said, "You are seeking with your mind, but peace is not found there. Peace is not something to search for. It is something you must return to. It is already within you, always has been, always will be." The monk was confused. "But if peace is already within me, why can I not find it? Why does it seem so elusive?" The woman smiled gently, a soft and knowing smile, and gestured to the well beside her. "Look into the water," she said. The monk peered into the still surface of the well. At first, the water was cloudy, disturbed by his gaze. He could see nothing clearly. "Why is the water so cloudy?" he asked, frustrated. The woman's gaze was steady. "The water is always clear, but when you stir it, you cannot see the reflection. Only when you stop stirring, only when you allow the water to settle, will the true clarity emerge." The monk sat in silence, contemplating her words. After a moment, he stopped searching, stopped trying to grasp for the answer. He simply sat quietly beside the well, breathing softly. Gradually, the water began to calm, becoming clear, reflecting the world around it with perfect stillness. In that moment, the monk understood. Peace is not something that can be grasped or sought after. It is like the still water, it is always there, waiting to be revealed when the mind settles. And when the mind is still, it reflects the world with clarity and peace. As you sit now, consider the still water of the well. How often do you stir your own mind, searching for peace, grasping for understanding, only to find that it slips away? What would it be like to let go, to allow the waters of your mind to settle, and to see that peace is always there, just beneath the surface, waiting to be recognized? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, let go of the need to seek, the need to grasp. Allow the waters of your mind to settle, to find their natural clarity. In the silence of this moment, peace is already here within you, always present, always waiting to reflect the world just as it is. In the stillness, everything is clear. You are here, and that is enough. Let the quiet of this moment wash over you and rest in the deep, effortless peace that has always been with you. There is nothing more to seek. You have arrived, and in this arrival, you are home. The world around you seems to fade even further, leaving only the soft rhythm of your breath and the quiet pulse of existence itself. The night has become timeless, stretching out like a deep, infinite ocean. You are not separate from it, not apart from this vast, peaceful expanse. There is no division, no boundary, just a seamless flow of being soft and gentle like the movement of the air itself. In this deep peace, a story arises, one that you may have heard before, but each time it carries a new resonance. It speaks of a wise Zen master who in his old age gathered his students one last time to share the essence of his teachings. As they sat before him, he began by saying, "The path to peace is not something you can walk. It is already beneath your feet, always has been." The students, eager to learn, asked, "Master, how can we walk a path that is already beneath us? How can we find peace if we cannot see the way?" The master smiled gently and said, "You have been searching for peace as though it were something to attain, something to possess. But peace is not an object. It is not something you find outside of yourself. It is the very ground you walk on, the air you breathe, the space between your thoughts." He paused, letting the words settle, then continued. "The path is not ahead of you, nor behind you. It is here now. When you stop searching for peace, when you stop striving, you will see that it was always with you, always right beneath your feet." As the students sat in silence contemplating his words, the master led them to the edge of a quiet river. "Look at the water," he said. "It flows effortlessly with no effort, no struggle. It does not question where it is going or why it is moving. It simply flows as it is, in harmony with the world around it. In the same way, peace is not something to struggle for. It is the natural state of being when you let go of the need to control, to grasp. The students watched the river for a long time, feeling the truth of the master's words. As the water moved gently by, they realized that peace is not a destination, nor is it something that can be found by looking outside of themselves. It is the flow of life itself, always present, always there when they stop striving. As you sit now, reflect on this truth. How often do you search for peace, thinking it is something you must attain or achieve? What would it be like to stop seeking to simply be with what is in the present moment? What if peace is not something you need to chase, but something you simply allow to unfold within you? Like the quiet flow of a river, breathe deeply, and with each exhale, let go of any remaining tension, any last traces of striving. Allow yourself to be here in the stillness of this moment, resting in the peace that is already present, already beneath you, already within you. In this moment, there is nothing more to do, nothing more to find. You are already whole, already complete, just as you are. Let go of the need to seek. Simply rest in the flow of this moment, in the deep peace that is always here. You are part of it. You always have been. The world too rests with you now. There is no separation. You are one with the quiet, the stillness, the peace that surrounds and fills you. Let yourself be held in this moment for as long as you need. There is nothing more to do. Simply rest, and in your rest you will find everything you need. The night continues its slow, infinite stretch, and with each breath, the world around you grows even quieter. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to do, and yet there is everything in this moment. The gentle pulse of your own being, the softness of the air, the steady rhythm of your breath. You are here, and here is enough. The stillness becomes a presence of its own, filling every corner of your awareness, inviting you to rest deeper, to sink further into this peaceful void. The silence is not empty. It is rich, full of life, full of possibility, yet without effort, without any need for action. It is a space where all things are allowed to simply be just as they are. A story from another time drifts into your mind, one shared by an old Zen master known for his simplicity and clarity. In his later years, he was often visited by those seeking his wisdom. One day, a young monk, eager to understand the deeper truths of life, approached him and asked, "Master, what is the path to enlightenment? How can I find it?" The master, who had long since shed the need for words, simply pointed to the ground beneath them. The monk, confused, looked down and saw only the dust and dirt of the path. "What do you mean, Master?" the monk asked. "How can the path be right beneath my feet? I have been searching for it for so long, traveling far and wide, seeking teachings and wisdom. But I cannot find it." The master smiled gently, his eyes warm and patient. "The path is not something you find. It is something you walk. But to walk it, you must stop searching for it. You must simply take each step just as it is. The path is always here beneath your feet in every moment. You need not look beyond this moment, this step. The monk sat in silence, contemplating the master's words. For a long time, he could not understand. He was used to the idea that enlightenment was something to be sought, something to be attained through effort and striving. But as he sat, the realization began to sink in. The path to peace, to enlightenment, was not somewhere far away. It was right here in the quiet rhythm of his breath, in the stillness of his heart, in the simple act of being present with what was. And so the monk walked with the master in silence, one step at a time, no longer searching, no longer seeking. He simply walked. And in that walking, he began to understand enlightenment was not a distant goal, but the very act of being here fully present in each step. As you sit now, consider this. How often do you look beyond this moment seeking peace, enlightenment, or happiness in a future that is not here yet? What would it be like to stop searching, to stop striving, and to simply be present with the step you are taking right now? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, let go of the need to search for something outside of yourself. In this moment, everything you need is already here. You are already on the path. You do not need to look ahead. Just take this step right here, right now. In the quiet, the world is full. You are full. There is no need for more. Simply be here in the stillness, breathing deeply and resting in the peace that already exists within you. And in this peace, you find yourself. You find the path not because it was hidden, but because you stopped seeking and simply walked. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to find. You are already home. The night continues its soft, unhurried flow, each moment folding into the next, as if the very air itself is wrapped in a quiet embrace. You are here, and with each breath you are reminded that this moment is the only one that matters. There is no past, no future, just this infinite still present. It is as if the world has paused, holding its breath with you, allowing you to rest in the peace that already resides within you. In the midst of this silence, a story arises, simple and profound, like a seed planted in the fertile soil of the moment. It is a story told by an old Zen master who, near the end of his life, sat with his students and shared the essence of all he had learned. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, the master spoke quietly, his voice soft, yet clear, like the gentle sound of a bell ringing in the distance. I have spent many years searching for wisdom, the master began, and I have found that there is no wisdom greater than this, to simply be. To let go of all the striving, all the seeking, and rest in the simplicity of this moment. The students listened intently, their hearts open and eager to absorb his words. The master continued, "The mind is like a wild horse, constantly running, seeking, grasping. But peace is not found in the chase. It is found when the mind is still, when it ceases its running and rests in the present moment." A student eager for understanding asked, "Master, how can I stop my mind from running? How can I find peace when my thoughts are always in motion?" The master smiled gently and pointed to the trees around them, their leaves rustling softly in the evening breeze. "Look at the trees," he said. "Their leaves may move with the wind, but they do not resist the wind. They bend, they sway, but they do not struggle. In the same way, the mind is like the leaves. It moves, it flows, but it does not need to struggle. You need not control your thoughts. Just let them come and go like the wind moving through the trees. And in that letting go, peace will arise." The student sat in silence, his mind slowly beginning to quiet, just as the wind calmed the movement of the leaves. In that moment, he understood. Peace was not something to chase. It was not something to possess. It was simply the natural state of being when the mind ceases its struggle, when it allows itself to be still. As you sit now, consider the trees, the leaves, the wind. How often do you struggle with your thoughts, trying to control them, to silence them? What would it be like to let them flow freely, without attachment, without resistance, like leaves dancing in the wind? What if peace is not about stopping the mind, but about allowing the mind to be as it is, flowing, moving, yet not needing to control, not needing to resist? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of any desire to control or change. Allow your thoughts to come and go like the leaves in the breeze. There's no need to stop them, no need to push them away. Just let them be, and in their passing, you will find the stillness you seek. In this stillness, peace is already here waiting for you to recognize it. It is not somewhere far off, not something to chase or grasp. It is here in this moment, in the breath you take, in the thoughts you release. And as you rest in this quiet, know that you are enough just as you are. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to seek. Peace is not in the striving, but in the letting go. You are already whole. The night continues to unfold around you, each moment blending into the next, as gentle and soft as the breath you take. The air is cool, but there is a warmth in your heart, a deep peace that expands with every exhale, filling the space around you with a quiet, unspoken presence. It is as though the world itself has stepped back, allowing you to simply be, to rest in the essence of this moment, without striving, without expectation. In the stillness of this peace, a story emerges, one that has been passed down through generations of Zen masters, a story of simplicity and profound truth. It is said that once a student came to a Zen master seeking wisdom. The student had traveled far, carrying with him a heart full of questions, a mind filled with seeking. When he arrived at the master's temple, he asked Master, "What is the key to enlightenment? What must I do to find peace?" The master, who had lived many years in silence, looked at the student with calm eyes and said, "There is no key. There is nothing you need to do. You have already arrived." The student, perplexed, replied, But Master, I have traveled so far. I have studied so many teachings. I have practiced meditation. I have worked tirelessly. I have done everything I can think of, but I still do not find the peace I seek. The Master smiled softly and replied, "You are like a man who has been searching for a pearl, but the pearl is already in his hand." The student looked at his hand, puzzled. "What do you mean, Master?" The Master placed his hand gently over the student's heart and said, "The peace you seek is already within you. It is not something you need to search for. You are not separate from it. It is like the ocean that cannot be separated from the waves, the moon that cannot be separated from the sky. You do not need to go anywhere to find it, because it has always been here within you." The student sat in silence, feeling the truth of the Master's words sink deeply into his heart. For the first time, he realized that he had been searching for something that was never lost, something that had always been within him. As you sit now, reflect on this simple truth. How often do you search for peace thinking that it is something distant, something to be attained, something outside of yourself? What if peace is already here within you in the very stillness of your heart? What would it be like to stop searching, to simply rest in the awareness that you are already whole, already complete? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow yourself to sink deeper into the quiet, knowing that peace is not something you need to seek. It is already within you, already part of who you are. In this moment, there is nothing more to do, nothing more to find. Just be, and in that being, you will discover the peace that has always been here. The world outside may move and change, but inside, there is a stillness that is constant, unchanging. It is the peace of the present moment, the peace of simply being, of breathing, of resting in the knowledge that you are enough just as you are. And as you rest in this peace, know that you are not alone. The stillness surrounds you, supports you, and fills you with a gentle knowing that everything is as it should be. There is nothing more to do now. Simply rest, and in this rest, find everything you need. The night deepens further, and with it the stillness that fills the room. There is no rush, no hurry, only the slow, steady rhythm of your breath, each inhale a gentle wave, each exhale a soft retreat. Time has lost its hold, and there is only the present, vast and unbroken like the quiet before the dawn. The world outside seems far away, and in its place there is nothing but peace unfolding endlessly within you. In this peaceful silence, a story comes to mind, a story shared by a Zen master who had lived for many years in the mountains, far from the noise of the world. His teachings were simple yet profound, and those who came to him left with a quiet understanding as if they had always known the truth, but had only just remembered it. One day, a young monk approached the master and asked, "Master, what is the nature of the mind? How can I free myself from the turmoil of thoughts that never stop?" The master looked at him with kind eyes, his expression calm, and said, The mind is like a sky full of clouds. The clouds may come and go, but the sky remains unchanged. Do not be concerned with the clouds, for they are not the sky. When you stop identifying with the clouds, you will see that the sky has always been clear. The monk was quiet, trying to understand. But Master, how can I stop identifying with the clouds? How can I free myself from the thoughts that constantly arise? The Master smiled softly. You do not need to push the clouds away. Simply notice them as they pass. Do not grasp them, do not follow them. Let them drift away on their own, and in that space you will find the stillness of the sky. The monk sat in silence, watching the Master's steady gaze. In that moment, he understood. Thoughts like clouds come and go, but the sky, the peace beneath them remains. And in that realization, he felt a deep peace wash over him, as if the very essence of the world had become still and clear. As you sit now, reflect on the clouds and the sky. How often do you identify with the passing thoughts in your mind, believing that they define you? What would it be like to simply watch your thoughts as they arise without grasping, without following? Knowing that they are like clouds, temporary and ever-changing. What if in the space between your thoughts, you could experience the stillness of the sky, the peace that is always there, waiting to be recognized? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, let go of the need to hold on to any thoughts, any distractions. Just allow them to pass by like clouds drifting across the sky. In the space between, there is peace. In the stillness, there is clarity. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky, vast, open, and infinite. The world around you is quiet now, the sounds of life gently fading away, leaving only the soft rhythm of your breath. You are held in the stillness, in the peace that arises when you let go of all effort, all striving. There is nothing to grasp, nothing to do. You are already home, already at peace, already complete. And as you rest in this peace, remember that you do not need to search for it. It has always been with you, beneath the clouds, beneath the thoughts. It is the essence of who you are, always present, always here. The night settles deeper, and with it the silence becomes even more profound. The quiet is not empty, but full, rich with the presence of the present moment. Each breath you take flows gently, effortlessly, like the wind through a still forest. You are not separate from this moment. You are part of it, connected to the stillness that surrounds and fills you. There is no past, no future, only this here and now in its pure simplicity. A new story emerges from this quiet, a story of an ancient Zen master who was known for his profound presence and unwavering calm. One evening, a student came to him with a question, one that had weighed heavily on his mind for many years. The student, his face filled with worry, asked, "Master, how can I find peace when the world is so full of noise and chaos? How can I remain calm when everything around me seems to be in constant turmoil?" The master, who had lived for many years in the solitude of the mountains, looked at the student with gentle eyes and said, "The The noise and chaos of the world are like the waves on the surface of the ocean. They come and go, rise and fall, but beneath them the ocean remains still, vast and unshaken. The peace you seek is not something you must find in the noise, but in the stillness beneath it. The student, still confused, asked, "But Master, how can I find the stillness when everything around me is so loud, so distracting?" The Master smiled softly and replied, "The stillness is always there beneath the surface, waiting to be recognized. You do not need to fight the waves. Simply allow them to pass, and you will see that the ocean remains calm no matter how much the waves may rise. When you stop identifying with the waves, you will realize that the stillness is always within you, no matter what is happening around you." The student sat in silence, absorbing the Master's words. In that silence, he began to understand. The chaos of life, the noise of the world, was not something he had to control. It was simply part of the flow, and peace was found not by fighting the noise, but by resting in the stillness beneath it. As you sit now, reflect on the waves and the ocean. How often do you identify with the noise of the world, the thoughts in your mind, the distractions that pull you in every direction? What if you could rest in the stillness beneath it all, knowing that no matter how loud the waves may seem, the peace of the ocean is always there, always beneath the surface, always within you? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to fight or resist the noise around you. Allow it to come and go like the waves on the surface of the ocean. In the space between the waves, there is peace. In the stillness beneath the surface, there is clarity. You are not the noise. You are the ocean, vast, quiet, and unshaken. The world around you may still be moving, still full of sound and motion, but here in this moment, you are anchored in the peace that is always present. You are grounded in the stillness that is within you, unshaken by the waves of life. Rest here now in the knowing that you are already at peace. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to seek. Simply be, and in this being, you will find everything you need. The quiet stretches on as if time itself has slowed, allowing you to sink deeper into the present moment. There is no rush, no need to go anywhere, do anything. The stillness is so deep that even your thoughts seem to fall away, fading into the peaceful silence that envelops you. All that exists is this moment, this breath, this sense of being. The world outside, with all its noise and demands, is distant, and only the gentle flow of your breath remains. A story drifts through the quiet, a story told by a Zen master who had spent his life in contemplation, seeking the truth in the simplicity of existence. One day, a young monk came to him with a question, one that had troubled him for some time. The monk, looking to find the answer to his inner unrest, asked, "Master, I seek peace, but it eludes me. I have tried so many things, meditation, study, prayer, but still my mind is unsettled. What should I do?" The master, sitting in his usual stillness, looked at the monk with calm eyes. He did not speak immediately, allowing the weight of the question to settle. Then, after a long pause, he simply said, "You are like a person who has been searching for a flower, but the flower is already in your hands." The monk, confused by this simple statement, asked, "What do you mean, Master? How can the flower be in my hands if I do not see it?" The Master smiled gently and replied, "The flower is not something you need to find. It is the very act of holding it, of allowing it to rest in your hand, that brings you peace. You have been searching outside of yourself, but peace is not something outside of you. It is the quiet presence within the simple act of being with what is." The monk sat in silence, pondering the Master's words. Slowly, a realization began to bloom in his heart. He had been so focused on the search for peace that he had forgotten the simplicity of being present, the quiet stillness that resides within him. Peace was not something to chase. It was already here in the very act of being, in the acceptance of what is. As you sit now, think about the flower the monk was seeking. How often do you search for peace outside of yourself, thinking that it is somewhere else, something to attain or achieve? What would it be like to stop searching and simply allow yourself to rest in the quiet that is already within you? What if peace is not something to find, but something to recognize in this very moment, in the stillness of your breath, in the simple act of being present? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of any last traces of seeking, of striving. Allow yourself to simply be here and now. There is nothing more to find, nothing more to do. Peace is already within you, like the flower resting gently in your hand, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be recognized. In this moment, you are enough. You are already at peace. Simply be, and in this being, you will discover everything you need. The world may continue to move, but here in this stillness, you are anchored in the calm presence that is always within you. The night continues its slow, peaceful passage, and in this stillness, the boundaries between you and the world fade further. There is no rush, no urgency, only the quiet rhythm of your breath, each inhale and exhale bringing you deeper into the present moment. It is as if the very essence of time has softened, allowing you to rest fully in the peace that surrounds you. As you sink into this peaceful presence, another story drifts into your awareness, one shared by a Zen master known for his deep understanding of simplicity. One day, a student came to him restless and filled with questions. The student had been practicing meditation for many years, but peace still seemed elusive. With a troubled heart, the student asked, "Master, I have been meditating for so long, and yet my mind is still troubled. I feel as though I am not getting any closer to peace. What should I do?" The master, sitting quietly, looked at the student with compassion. He did not answer immediately, but instead he motioned for the student to follow him. They walked together in silence to the edge of a small pond, where the water was still and clear, reflecting the sky above. The master pointed to the water and said, "Look at the pond. The water is calm, reflecting everything clearly. But what would happen if you threw a stone into it? The student watched as the master tossed a small stone into the pond, creating ripples that disturbed the stillness of the water. The water becomes disturbed, the student said. Exactly, the master replied. The mind is like the still water. When you throw a stone, it creates ripples just as thoughts create disturbances in the mind. But if you wait long enough, the ripples fade and the water becomes still again. The master continued, Your mind too is like the water. Thoughts come and go like stones thrown into the pond, but with time they will settle. Peace is not something you can force or grasp. It is the natural state of the mind when you allow it to settle, when you stop adding more stones. The student sat quietly watching the water. Slowly the ripples faded and the surface became calm once more. In that moment, the student understood. Peace was not about eliminating thoughts or controlling the mind. It was about allowing the mind to return to its natural stillness without interference, without effort. As you sit now, reflect on the water in the pond. How often do you try to control your thoughts, to force them to stop, to eliminate the ripples of your mind? What if peace is not found in controlling the thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go without resistance, knowing that, like the ripples on the pond, they will settle in their own time? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of any need to control or fight your thoughts. Allow them to rise and fall just as the ripples in the pond. In the space between thoughts, there is peace. In the stillness, there is clarity. The mind, like the water, is naturally peaceful when you stop stirring it. The world around you may still be moving, but here in this moment, you are at rest, grounded in the deep stillness that is always within you. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. Simply rest in the peace that is already here. The stillness wraps around you like a soft, comforting embrace, and the world outside continues to fade into the distance, leaving only the present moment vast and endless to fill your awareness. There's no need for anything more, no need to strive or achieve. All that exists is here in the gentle rhythm of your breath, in the peaceful calm of this moment. A story arises quietly from the depths of your mind, a story shared by a Zen master whose teachings were simple but profound. It is said that one day a young student came to him eager to understand the nature of life and peace. The student, full of questions, asked, "Master, how can I live in peace when the world around me is filled with suffering and chaos? How can I find stillness in such a world?" The master, who had lived for many years in solitude and contemplation, smiled gently and said, "Peace is not found in the world. The world is full of change, full of both beauty and suffering. But peace is found in the way you respond to the world, in how you hold the world in your heart." The student, still searching for answers, asked, "But Master, how can I hold the world in my heart without being overwhelmed by it?" The master took a deep breath and said, "Imagine that you are holding a lotus flower. The flower is beautiful but delicate. If you hold it too tightly, it will be crushed. But if you hold it too loosely, it will slip from your grasp. The key is in finding the balance, holding the flower with care, with gentleness, without attachment. The student thought about the master's words for a moment, and then asked, "But Master, how can I hold the world with such care, without becoming attached to it?" The master replied, "You hold the world with compassion, not attachment. Compassion does not grasp, it allows. Compassion sees the world as it is, without judgment, without clinging. When you can hold the world with compassion, you will find that the world no longer overwhelms you. It becomes something you can love, something you can care for, without needing to change it." The student sat in silence, feeling the weight of the master's words settle into his heart. In that moment, he understood. Peace was not about escaping the world or denying its pain. It was about how he held the world, how he responded to it with an open heart, free from the need to control or change it. As you sit now, consider the lotus flower. How often do you hold the world too tightly, trying to control or fix things, thinking that peace is something to achieve? What would it be like to hold the world with compassion, with care, without attachment? What if peace is not something to chase, but something to cultivate within your heart? As you allow the world to be just as it is, breathe deeply, and with each breath, imagine yourself holding the world gently, like the delicate petals of a lotus. There is no need to force, no need to control. Simply be with the world as it is, with compassion, with care. In this holding, you will find peace. The world may continue to move full of change and uncertainty, but here in this moment, you are rooted in the stillness that comes from holding everything with love without attachment. You are already at peace. You have always been. The night lingers vast and serene, enveloping you in its quiet embrace. The stillness is deep, and in this deepening silence, the boundaries between you and the world blur, fading into a soft, endless presence. There is nothing to do now, no need to strive or search for anything. Just the simple act of breathing each inhale, bringing you deeper into the peace that resides within. A story rises gently from the stillness, like a leaf floating to the surface of a calm pond. It speaks of a Zen master who lived in a small village by the edge of a river. One day, a young monk came to him, troubled and full of questions. He had been practicing diligently, meditating for hours each day, but peace still seemed elusive. "Master," the monk said, "I have been trying so hard to find peace, but I cannot. My mind is still restless, and I feel as though I am not progressing." The master, who had spent many years in quiet reflection, looked at the young monk with compassionate eyes. He did not answer immediately, but instead invited the monk to sit beside him. They sat together, looking out over the river, its waters flowing gently but steadily. After a long pause, the master spoke. "The river flows without effort, without resistance. It does not try to go anywhere. It simply moves, following the path it must take. The water does not fight against the rocks in its path, nor does it struggle against the current. It flows, and in that flowing it is at peace. The monk listened closely, his mind still clouded with doubt and confusion. "But Master," he said, "the river has no thoughts, no distractions. How can I, with my restless mind, ever find peace like the river?" The Master smiled gently. "The river is like your mind. The water flows and the thoughts arise one after another. The key is not to fight the flow, but to allow it. When you let go of your struggle, when you stop trying to control the water, it flows freely. In the same way, when you stop struggling with your thoughts, when you allow them to come and go without attachment, you will find that peace is already here in the flow of life." The monk sat in silence, contemplating the Master's words. Slowly, the restlessness within him began to soften, and he felt a quiet shift in his heart. He realized that peace was not something to attain through effort, but something to allow, something to recognize in the natural flow of life. As you sit now, consider the river, the flow of the water. How often do you struggle with your thoughts, trying to push them away or control them? What if peace is not about stopping the flow, but about letting go of the need to fight it? What if, like the river, you can simply allow your thoughts to come and go without resistance, without attachment? And in that allowing, find peace. Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, imagine yourself releasing the struggle, letting the current of your thoughts flow gently by. You are not your thoughts. You are the river flowing with life, moving effortlessly through the present moment. In this flow, there is peace. In this surrender, there is freedom. You are already whole, already at peace, simply by being. There is nothing to control, nothing to fight. Just breathe and let the river of your thoughts flow naturally without interference. The night deepens and stillness fills the air, wrapping you in its quiet embrace. There is nothing more to do, nowhere to go. Time seems to stretch endless and soft, like the gentle ebb and flow of the tide. You are not apart from it, but fully immersed in the stillness, a part of the vastness that surrounds you. In this deep silence, another story unfolds, carried by the gentle current of your thoughts. It is a story told by an old Zen master who had spent his life in simplicity and peace. One day, a young student approached him, seeking wisdom. The student, with a heart full of questions, asked, "Master, I have tried so hard to find peace. I have followed many teachings, I have meditated daily, but still my mind is restless. How can I find the peace that I seek?" The master, who had long since learned the art of stillness, did not respond immediately. He simply sat in silence, watching the student. After a long pause, the master gently pointed to the ground beneath them. "What do you see?" he asked. The student, puzzled, looked down at the earth. "I see the ground beneath us, Master." The master nodded, his gaze steady. "What is the ground like?" The student thought for a moment before answering. "It is solid, unchanging. It is always here supporting us whether we notice it or not. The Master smiled softly and said, "Just as the ground is always there supporting you, so is peace always here beneath the surface of your thoughts. You do not need to search for it is already within you, like the earth beneath your feet. It is constant, unwavering, even when the world around you shifts. You need only to be present with it." The student sat quietly contemplating the Master's words. Slowly, he began to understand. He had been searching for peace outside of himself in teachings, in practices, in expectations. But peace was not something to find. It was already there beneath the surface within him. All he needed to do was stop searching and simply rest in the knowing that peace was already present. As you sit now, reflect on the ground beneath you, steady and unchanging. How often do you search for peace outside of yourself, thinking that it is something to achieve or attain? What would it be like to stop searching, to stop striving, and to simply rest in the knowledge that peace is already here, always within you, just like the earth beneath your feet? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, feel the ground beneath you steady and supportive. Let go of any need to search, any need to find something outside of yourself. Simply rest in the present moment, knowing that peace is already here, always here, supporting you. In this stillness, there is no need for more. You are already whole, already at peace, simply by being. Let go of the search and rest in the quiet presence that is always with you. The quiet continues as soft and infinite as the sky itself. The night wraps itself around you like a blanket, gentle and warm, offering a sanctuary where there is nothing to fear, nothing to chase. In this stillness, all that remains is your breath, the steady rhythm that connects you to this moment, to yourself. As you breathe, another story rises softly like the wind through the trees. It speaks of a Zen master known for his serene presence and deep wisdom. One day, a young monk approached him, carrying the heavy weight of many unanswered questions. "Master," the monk said, his voice filled with uncertainty, "I seek peace, but it is elusive. I have studied the teachings, meditated for countless hours, and yet I feel unrest inside. What should I do?" The master, who had spent many years in the quiet of the mountains, looked at the monk with kind eyes. Without a word, he motioned for the monk to follow him. They walked together in silence until they reached a small, serene pond. The master gestured toward the still water, where the reflection of the trees and sky were perfectly mirrored on its surface. "Look at the water," the master said. The monk gazed at the calm pond, watching the gentle ripples. "The water is still," the monk said, "but when a stone is thrown into it, it becomes disturbed." The master nodded. "Exactly. Your mind is like the water. When you throw a stone into it, when you allow thoughts to disturb it, it becomes restless. But what happens when the stone settles to the bottom?" The monk watched as the ripples slowly faded and the water return to its stillness. The water becomes calm again, the monk said, understanding beginning to bloom in his heart. The master smiled softly. So it is with your mind. Peace is not something to be found by forcing stillness or suppressing thoughts. It is found when you allow the ripples of your mind to settle on their own. You need only to stop throwing stones, to stop adding fuel to the disturbance, and the stillness will naturally return. The monk sat beside the pond, allowing the peaceful reflection of the sky to fill his mind. In that silence, he understood that peace was not something to chase, not something to force or control. It was already here within him, waiting to settle into the quiet of his own heart. As you sit now, reflect on the water in the pond. How often do you allow your thoughts to disturb the stillness, believing that peace is something you need to grasp? What would it be like to stop throwing stones into your mind, to simply allow the ripples to fade and rest in the natural calm that arises? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow your mind to settle like the ripples on the pond. There is no need to chase peace. It is already here beneath the surface, just waiting to be recognized. In the stillness of this moment, you are at peace. You do not need to do anything more. Simply rest in this quiet presence, knowing that peace has always been here within you, waiting for you to stop disturbing it. The stillness grows deeper, and the night stretches on, wrapped in a blanket of calm. There is no rush now, no urgency, just the soft rhythm of your breath guiding you through this moment. Each inhale brings you a little further into peace. Each exhale releases the last traces of tension, leaving only the quiet presence of now. In the midst of this calm, a story gently unfolds, a story told by a Zen master who had spent his days in quiet reflection, watching the seasons change and listening to the wind in the trees. One day, a young student came to him, carrying the weight of many unanswered questions. He asked, Master, why have tried so many things to find peace? I meditate, I reflect, I study the teachings, but the restlessness inside me never fades. What is the key to peace? The master, with a serene gaze, said nothing at first. He simply motioned for the student to follow him. They walked together in silence, passing through the forest, until they came to a small clearing where the sun's rays filtered through the trees, casting soft light on the ground. The master stopped and pointed to the ground beneath them. Look at the ground, the master said. The student bent down, looking at the earth beneath his feet. He could see the dirt, the moss, the small plants growing, each one part of the whole, each one existing simply as it was. The ground does not strive, the master continued. It does not try to be anything. It is simply here, steady and present. It does not struggle, yet it supports all things. In the same way, peace is not something you need to struggle for. It is the natural state of being when you let go of striving, when you allow yourself to be as you are, without effort, without force. The student stood up slowly, the realization beginning to sink in. The master smiled, understanding that the answer had already begun to unfold within the student's heart. As the ground is steady, so too can you be steady, the master said softly. Peace is not found by pushing or pulling, by grasping or striving. It is found in simply being present with what is without resistance. The student stood quietly, feeling the stillness within him deepen. He realized that peace had never been something to chase. It was always here beneath the surface of his thoughts, beneath the layers of his striving. All he had to do was let go and allow it to emerge like the earth that supports all life, steady and unshaken. As you sit now, think of the ground beneath you. How often do you strive reaching for peace, pushing for calm, only to find that it slips further away? What would it be like to stop striving, to simply rest in the stillness that is already here? What if peace is not something to attain, but something to allow, like the ground that supports you without effort? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, let go of any need to control or change. Allow yourself to be as you are, steady and present, just like the ground beneath you. There is nothing to do now, nothing to seek. Simply be, and in that being, peace will unfold naturally. In this stillness, there is nothing more you need. You are already at peace. You have always been and always will be. Simply rest in the quiet, knowing that the peace you seek is not somewhere else, it is here now within you. The stillness continues deeper now as the night wraps itself around you, soft and unhurried. The world seems distant, fading into the background, leaving only this moment, this breath, this peaceful presence. You are here, and here is enough. A story comes quietly, like a whispered breeze through the trees. It is a tale shared by a Zen master, known for his profound simplicity. One day, a student came to him, his mind filled with questions and uncertainties. The student asked, "Master, I have been trying to quiet my mind. I have been meditating, but still my thoughts race and I feel restless. How can I find true peace?" The master did not respond immediately. He simply invited the student to sit beside him. They sat together in silence for a long time, just being present with the moment. After some time, the master finally spoke. "Your mind is like a river," he said, "always flowing, always moving. Thoughts are like the water, never still. But the river is not troubled by the water. It simply flows. Peace is not found in stopping the flow, but in allowing it to be as it is." The student, still confused, asked, "But Master, how can I find peace if my thoughts never stop? How can I quiet the river?" The master smiled gently. The river does not fight the water. It does not try to stop the flow. It simply moves with it, accepting each curve, each bend, each stone in its path. In the same way, you do not need to stop your thoughts. You simply need to stop fighting them. Let them flow like the river without resistance. The student sat quietly contemplating the master's words. Slowly, he began to understand. Peace was not about stopping the flow of thoughts, but about accepting them, letting them pass without grasping at them, without trying to control them. In that acceptance, the river would flow naturally and peace would arise. As you sit now, reflect on the river, the steady flow of water. How often do you try to stop the flow of your thoughts, wishing for them to be still? What if peace is not found in stopping the thoughts, but in letting them flow without resistance? What if, like the river, you can simply allow your thoughts to come and go without judgment, without clinging to them, knowing that they will pass? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow your thoughts to flow like the river. There is no need to fight them. Let them pass as they will. In the space between thoughts, there is peace. In the gentle flow of the river, there is stillness. You are not your thoughts. You are the river moving with life, flowing effortlessly through the present moment. In this moment, there is nothing to do, nowhere to go. Simply be. And in that being, you will find the peace that is always here. The world may continue to flow around you, but here in the stillness of your heart, you are grounded, you are at peace. The night deepens even further, and the silence grows more profound, like the gentle unfolding of a dream. There is nothing to do, no place to be, only this moment, stretching out into eternity, soft and endless. Each breath you take draws you deeper into the stillness. And in this stillness, everything is already as it should be. You are here, and here is all that you need. A story arises simple yet powerful, like the quiet movement of a leaf in the wind. It speaks of a Zen master who had lived for many years in the mountains, in perfect harmony with nature. One day, a student came to him, troubled by the noise in his mind. "Master," the student said, "I have practiced for many years, but my mind is still restless. I cannot find the peace that I seek. How can I quiet my mind?" The master, who had long since learned the art of stillness, looked at the student with understanding. Without speaking, he gestured for the student to follow him, and together they walked through the forest to a quiet clearing. The master pointed to a small stream flowing gently through the clearing, its waters gliding over smooth stones. "Look at the water," the master said. The student watched as the water flowed effortlessly, moving around the stones, never stopping, never resisting. "The water flows freely," the student said, "but my thoughts, like the stones, get stuck in my mind. I cannot let them go." The master nodded and said, "The water does not fight the stones. It flows around them with them and continues on its path. In the same way, your thoughts are like the stones. Do not try to push them away. Simply allow them to flow, to come and go without resistance. When you stop trying to control them, the mind will settle naturally like the water flowing freely." The student sat quietly, watching the stream, feeling the peace of the moment wash over him. Slowly, he began to understand. Peace was not about controlling the mind, about making it still. It was about allowing the thoughts to come and go without attaching to them, without trying to change them. It was in the flow, in the letting go, that peace arose. As you sit now, reflect on the stream. How often do you try to control your thoughts, to push them away, to make them still? What if peace is not found in forcing your thoughts to stop, but in allowing them to flow like the water in the stream? What if in the space between your thoughts, there is a stillness that is always present, waiting for you to recognize it? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of any need to control, to change, or to stop the flow of your thoughts. Simply allow them to come and go like the water flowing over the stones. In the spaces between your thoughts, there is peace. In the flow of the stream, there is calm. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness, the water that flows effortlessly. The world may continue to move, to change, but here in this moment, you are rooted in the peace that is already within you. You are not separate from the flow of life. You are part of it, flowing with it gently and effortlessly. The night settles deeper, and with it, the silence becomes all-encompassing. Time seems to slow, stretching out into an infinite horizon, where there is no need to rush, no desire to go anywhere. The present moment in its simplicity holds everything you need. You are here, and here is enough. The air is still, your breath is steady, and there is only peace. A story drifts through the quiet, a story shared by a Zen master who lived by the quiet rhythms of nature. One day, a young monk came to him, troubled by the restlessness in his mind. The monk had practiced meditation, studied the teachings, and still peace seemed distant. "Master," he asked, "how can I quiet my mind? I have tried so many methods, but my thoughts never cease. How can I find the stillness I seek?" The master, who had spent years in solitude listening to the sounds of nature and the quiet of his own heart, looked at the monk with kind eyes. He did not answer immediately. Instead, he led the monk to a small garden where the sound of birdsong and the rustle of leaves filled the air. "Look at the garden," the master said. "See the flowers, the trees, the birds, the wind. They do not try to control the world. They simply are growing and moving with the seasons. They do not resist the flow of life." The monk looked closely, noticing the quiet harmony between the flowers and the trees, the wind and the birds. Everything seemed to be in perfect balance, not forced, but simply existing as it was. The master continued, "You are like the flowers in this garden. You do not need to struggle or strive for peace. You need only to allow yourself to be, to let go of the need to control your thoughts, to accept them as they come and go like the wind through the trees. The garden does not fight the seasons. It simply grows." The monk sat in silence, the words sinking deeply into his heart. In that moment, he realized that peace was not something to achieve, but something to allow. Just as the garden grows without force, peace could be cultivated without struggle, simply by being present with what is. As you sit, now think of the garden, the flowers, the trees. How often do you try to control your thoughts, your emotions, your experience, believing that peace is something to chase? What if, like the garden, peace is already here, waiting for you to let go of your need to control and simply be with what is? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow yourself to release any resistance, any effort. Let go of the need to make things different, to make your mind still. Just be here as you are in this moment. In that being, peace will naturally arise like the flowers in the garden, growing in their own time, in their own way. You are part of the flow of life, not separate from it. Just as the garden grows effortlessly with the seasons, so too can you rest in the natural rhythm of life, allowing peace to unfold naturally, without force, without striving. The night lingers calm and expansive, as if the universe itself is breathing with you. Every moment passes without urgency, without need, like a gentle wave ebbing and flowing. You are held in the quiet, and the peace within you deepens with each breath you take. There is no rush, no demands, just the soft, steady rhythm of life unfolding in its own time. Another story arises soft and clear, like a ripple in the still water of your mind. It is a story told by a Zen master who had spent many years listening to the sound of the wind, feeling the rhythm of the earth beneath him. One day, a student came to him, troubled by the noise in his mind. "Master," the student asked, "I have been trying to meditate, but my mind is restless. My thoughts are like waves crashing in the ocean, and I cannot find the peace I seek. How can I calm my mind?" The master, who had known the peace of the mountains, did not speak right away. He simply gestured for the student to follow him. They walked in silence through the forest until they reached a quiet pond, its surface smooth and still. The master pointed to the water and said, "Look at the pond. The water is still, but if a stone is thrown into it, what happens?" The student watched as the master picked up a small stone and dropped it gently into the pond. The water rippled, disturbed by the stone's entrance, and the once calm surface became unsettled. "The water becomes disturbed," the student said, watching the ripples fade. The master nodded. "Just like the water, your mind is calm when it is undisturbed. But thoughts are like stones, they create ripples in the mind. Peace is not found in trying to stop the ripples. It is found in allowing them to settle on their own without trying to control them." The student sat beside the pond, watching the water slowly calm and return to stillness. In that moment, he understood. Peace was not about fighting the waves of his thoughts, but about letting them come and go without attachment. The stillness was always there beneath the surface of the ripples. As you sit now, reflect on the pond. How often do you try to stop the waves in your mind, struggling to silence your thoughts? What if peace is not found in controlling your mind, but in allowing your thoughts to rise and fall naturally like the ripples in the water? What if, in the spaces between your thoughts, you can rest in the stillness that is always present? Breathe deeply, and with each breath allow the ripples in your mind to pass without resistance, without judgment. Simply be with them, knowing that they will fade, just as the ripples in the pond do. In the space between thoughts, there is peace. In the stillness beneath the surface, there is clarity. You are not your thoughts. You are the calm, the space that holds everything. The world may continue to move, but here in this moment, you are still. The ripples have faded, and you are at peace. Simply rest in the knowing that peace is not something to chase. It is already here beneath the surface, waiting for you to allow it to emerge. The night flows on soft and endless, like a river moving gently through the landscape of your mind. There is no rush, no urgency, only the quiet rhythm of your breath, the stillness surrounding you, and the peace that arises with each exhale. The world beyond this moment seems distant, and here in the calm of the present, everything feels complete. A story comes to you now as soft as the air around you, unfolding with ease. It is the story of a Zen master who, having lived for many years in quiet contemplation, was asked by a young student, "Master, I have been meditating for a long time, yet my mind is still restless. I feel as though I am far from peace. How can I find the stillness that I seek?" The master, known for his simplicity and understanding, did not respond right away. He simply invited the student to walk with him through the garden. They walked together, passing by the trees, the flowers, the quiet paths, where the earth met the sky in perfect harmony. The master finally spoke, pointing to a small flower growing quietly by the path. "Look at the flower," he said. "It does not strive to bloom. It does not struggle to grow. It simply grows without effort, without force. The flower does not need to seek the sunlight, for it is always there, shining down on it. The flower grows naturally, as it was meant to." The student, still confused, asked, "But Master, how can I be like the flower? My thoughts are like clouds, always moving, always shifting. How can I find peace when my mind is so unsettled?" The master smiled gently and said, "The flower does not resist the sunlight. It simply receives it. The clouds come and go, but the sky remains unchanged. In the same way, your thoughts will come and go, but you do not need to fight them, you do not need to control them. Simply allow them to pass. And in the space between the thoughts, you will find the peace that is always here beneath the surface." The student sat quietly, contemplating the master's words. As he sat, he began to realize that peace was not something to search for, something to chase. It was already within him, like the quiet soil beneath the flower, supporting him without effort. All he needed to do was stop struggling, stop fighting, and simply allow himself to rest in the present moment. As you sit now, consider the flower. How often do you struggle with your thoughts, trying to control them, trying to silence them, believing that peace is something to achieve? What if peace is not something you need to find, but something you already possess? What if, like the flower, you can simply be present with what is without effort, without resistance? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to control. Allow your thoughts to come and go like the clouds, knowing that they are not you. You are the quiet space between them, the stillness that is always present. Peace is not in the struggle. It is in the acceptance, in the simplicity of being. The world around you may continue to move, but here in this moment, you are still. You are grounded in the peace that is always within you, waiting for you to recognize it. You are enough just as you are. Simply rest in the quiet, knowing that there is nothing more you need to do. The night remains calm, the air cool and still, as the passage of time feels gentle, as if it too is breathing in sync with you. The outside world with its noise and distractions seems far away, and all that remains is this simple, profound peace, held supported and deepening with every breath you take. A story begins to unfold in the quiet space of your mind, like a soft ripple spreading across a still pond. It is a story of a Zen master who lived by a mountain stream. He was known for his deep wisdom, but also for his simplicity, for he believed that the greatest truths were found not in teachings or words, but in the very act of being present. One day, a student full of doubt and questions came to him and said, "Master, I have tried to meditate. I have studied the teachings. Yet my mind is like the rushing stream, always moving, always filled with thoughts. How can I find peace in such a restless mind?" The master, hearing the student's question, led him to the edge of the stream, where the water flowed quickly over the rocks. "Look at the stream," the master said. "Do you see how the water moves, how it rushes over the stones? It does not try to stop. It does not fight the rocks. It simply moves around them, flowing naturally with the current." The student watched closely, seeing the water as it moved effortlessly, gently flowing around each stone, never resisting, never trying to control the path. The master continued, "Your mind, like the stream, moves constantly. Thoughts arise, they pass away, and they return. You do not need to stop the thoughts, just as the stream does not need to stop flowing. Peace is found in the ability to let the thoughts come and go without grasping, without forcing them away. The stream is not disturbed by the rocks. It simply flows around them." The student sat by the stream watching the water, and in the stillness, he began to understand. The flow of thoughts in his mind was like the current of the water. He did not need to struggle with them, nor did he need to control them. He simply needed to allow them to move, to flow naturally, and in that flow he would find peace. As you sit now, reflect on the stream. How often do you try to control the flow of thoughts, to stop them, to change them, believing that peace comes from their absence? What if peace is not found in stopping your thoughts, but in allowing them to flow like the stream? What if peace is found in simply being present with what is without resisting it? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, imagine your thoughts flowing like the water, coming and going without effort. There is no need to control, no need to stop them. Just allow them to pass, and in the space between, there is peace. In the flow of the stream, in the gentle rhythm of your breath, you find the stillness that has always been here within you. There is no struggle, no force. Simply be, and in that being, peace will naturally unfold. The world may continue to move around you, but here in this moment, you are at rest, grounded in the calm that is always present, always available. The night deepens, and with it, the world grows softer, quieter, as if it is holding its breath. There is no hurry, no need to do anything or go anywhere, only this moment unfolding like the petals of a lotus, quietly and gently. Each breath you take pulls you further into this space, and you are free to rest in the peaceful stillness that surrounds you. A story comes to you softly, like the evening breeze. It is the story of a Zen master known for his serene presence, who lived by a tranquil lake. One evening, a student approached him, filled with questions about the mind and the elusive nature of peace. "Master," the student asked, "I have practiced, diligently meditated for many hours, but my mind is still restless. How can I find true peace when my thoughts never cease?" The master did not answer immediately. Instead, he motioned for the student to walk with him. They walked in silence, and soon they came to the edge of the lake. The water was still reflecting the sky above, clear and undisturbed. "Look at the water," the master said. "See how it reflects the sky, the trees, and the mountains. The surface is smooth, calm. But what happens if a stone is thrown into the water?" The student watched as the master picked up a small stone and dropped it into the lake. The water rippled, and the reflection of the sky wavered for a moment. "The stone creates ripples," the student said, observing how the stillness was disturbed. The master nodded. "Your mind is like the water. When a thought enters the mind, it creates ripples. But notice this, the water does not fight the stone. It simply allows the ripples to form, and when the stone has settled, the water returns to its natural stillness. Peace is not found in fighting the thoughts. It is found in allowing them to pass, in letting them ripple through and then fade like the stone sinking to the bottom." The student sat quietly, the master's words settling deeply within him. He realized that he had been trying to stop his thoughts, fighting against them. But peace was not in stopping the ripples. It was in allowing them to come and go without resistance, like the water that returns to its natural stillness. As you sit now, reflect on the water. How often do you try to fight against your thoughts, pushing them away, wanting them to stop? What if peace is not found in the absence of thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the ripples on the surface of the water? What if, like the lake, you could simply be with the thoughts, letting them pass without judgment or attachment? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, let go of the need to control your thoughts. Allow them to come and go like the ripples on the water. In the space between, there is stillness. In the natural flow of thoughts, there is peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the water, calm and steady beneath the surface. The world may continue to move. The thoughts may continue to come, but here in this moment you are still. The ripples have faded and you are at peace. Simply rest in this peace, knowing that you are not separate from it, but part of it, always whole, always calm. The night flows on silent and peaceful, stretching endlessly before you. There is no need to rush, no need to seek. You are simply here in this moment, held by the deep calm that surrounds you. The rhythm of your breath continues steady and gentle, guiding you deeper into this quiet space where nothing is needed and all is well. A story rises softly in the stillness, a story shared by a Zen master who had spent his life observing the world in its natural flow. One day, a young student came to him, troubled by the noise in his mind. "Master," the student said, "I have practiced, diligently meditated for hours, but I still feel restless. My thoughts are like a storm that never stops. How can I find peace when my mind is in such turmoil?" The master, who had lived many years in solitude, listening to the sounds of nature, did not respond immediately. He gestured for the student to follow him and led him to a quiet clearing in the forest. There they sat beside a small creek, its water flowing gently over smooth stones, making a soft, soothing sound. "Look at the creek," the master said. "The water flows continuously, moving over the stones around obstacles without resistance. It does not fight against the rocks in its path. It simply flows naturally." The student watched the water for a moment, and then the master continued. "Your mind is like this creek. Thoughts will come and go like the water flowing over the stones. You cannot stop the flow of the water, just as you cannot stop your thoughts. But like the creek, you do not need to fight against them. You need only to let them pass, allowing the mind to flow without resistance." The student sat in silence, watching the creek, the gentle movement of the water calming his mind. He realized that peace was not about stopping the thoughts or forcing the mind to be still. It was about allowing the thoughts to flow, to come and go without attachment, without struggle. As you sit now, reflect on the creek. How often do you fight against your thoughts, trying to control them, to make them stop? What would it be like to simply let them flow like the water in the creek? What if peace is not found in stopping the flow, but in allowing it to move naturally without resistance? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow your thoughts to come and go like the flowing water. There is no need to fight them. Just let them pass, and in the space between, there is peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the water flowing effortlessly through this moment. In the stillness of your being, there is no struggle, no need to do anything. You are simply here as you are part of the natural flow of life. Rest in this peaceful knowing, for it is always with you. The night deepens further, and the stillness seems to stretch on forever, vast and unbroken. There is no need for words, no need for movement. Everything simply is as it should be. Your breath is slow, deep, and steady, guiding you further into this peaceful, quiet space where the world feels distant and only the present moment remains. In this calm, a story rises gentle and soft. It is a story told by a Zen master who had spent his years in a quiet temple observing the world and finding peace in its simplest forms. One day, a young student came to him filled with anxiety and questions. Master, the student asked, I have spent so much time trying to meditate, trying to find peace, but my mind is full of distractions. My thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky, and I cannot hold on to peace. How can I find stillness? The master, who had long since let go of the need to explain, took the student to a quiet part of the temple where there was a small pond surrounded by tall trees. The water was still clear and calm. The master pointed to the pond and said, Look at the water. It is still, it reflects the sky, the trees. But what happens if a stone is thrown into it? The student watched as the master dropped a small stone into the pond, creating ripples that spread out in all directions. The water becomes disturbed, the student said. Exactly, the master replied. Your mind is like this water. Thoughts arise like stones disturbing the stillness. But notice this, after the stone sinks, the water returns to its natural stillness. The ripples fade, and the water is calm again. The student sat silently contemplating the master's words. Master, he asked after a while, but how can I stop the stones from disturbing the water? How can I find peace when the thoughts continue to rise? The master smiled gently. The stone does not need to be stopped. It simply needs to be allowed to sink. The key to peace is not in stopping the thoughts, but in letting them pass. When you stop clinging to them, when you allow them to come and go, the mind returns to its natural stillness. The student sat beside the pond, watching the water slowly settle. In that silence, he understood. Peace was not about controlling the mind, but about letting go of the need to control, to force. Peace arose naturally when the mind was allowed to settle, when the thoughts were allowed to pass without resistance. As you sit now, reflect on the stillness of the pond. How often do you try to stop the thoughts, to force the mind to be quiet? What if peace is not found in stopping the thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the ripples in the water? What if in the space between thoughts, there is a quiet stillness waiting for you? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of any need to control or fight the thoughts. Allow them to rise and allow them to fade. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness beneath them, the calm water that remains undisturbed once the ripples pass. In this moment, there is nothing to do, nowhere to go. Simply rest in the quiet, in the peaceful knowing that peace is always within you, always ready to return when you allow it. The night continues to stretch endlessly soft and expansive, wrapping around you like the calm of a deep breath. The world outside seems far away, and in this moment there is only peace. The quiet hum of the present fills your awareness, and with each breath you feel more settled, more rooted in the stillness that surrounds you. There is no need for movement, no need for anything beyond this moment. Everything is already as it should be. A story rises as gentle as a leaf falling to the ground. It is a story of a Zen master who had lived for many years in a quiet temple nestled in the mountains. He was known for his simplicity, his ability to see life as it was without complication. One day, a student approached him with a troubled heart, asking, "Master, I have spent so much time seeking peace, trying to still my mind, but it feels like an impossible task. How can I find the peace that I seek?" The master, whose eyes had witnessed the passing of many seasons, did not speak immediately. He simply gestured for the student to follow him, and they walked together in silence. Soon they arrived at the edge of a calm river. The water moved gently over the stones, its surface undisturbed, except for the occasional ripple from a leaf that drifted across. The master pointed to the water and said, "Look at the river. It does not fight against the stones or the current. It flows naturally without effort and without resistance. It moves with the world around it, not against it." The student, still unsure, asked, "But Master, my thoughts are like the river's current, constantly moving, constantly changing. How can I find peace when my mind is in constant motion?" The master smiled and nodded. The river does not struggle with its flow. It simply moves, allowing the current to guide it. In the same way, your thoughts will come and go. They do not need to be controlled. The key is not to fight them, but to allow them to pass like the water flowing over the stones. When you let go of the need to control the current, peace arises naturally, like the stillness beneath the surface of the river. The student sat by the river, watching the water move gently by. And in that moment, he realized that peace was not something he had to force or search for. It was always here, like the stillness beneath the surface of the river, waiting to be recognized. Peace was found in the letting go, in allowing things to flow as they are without resistance. As you sit now, reflect on the river. How often do you try to control the flow of your thoughts, as if peace can only be found in their absence? What if peace is found in the letting go, in allowing your thoughts to come and go naturally, like the water flowing over the stones? What if in the spaces between your thoughts, there is the stillness that you seek? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to control. Allow your thoughts to come and go like the river's current. In the gentle flow of your mind, there is peace. In the stillness beneath the surface, there is calm. You are not your thoughts. You are the quiet space that holds them, the calm that remains once the ripples have passed. In this moment, simply rest in that peace. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. You are already at home in the quiet of your own being. The night stretches on quiet and infinite like the soft embrace of the universe itself. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to do. You are here, and in this presence you are whole at peace. The rhythm of your breath guides you deeper into this moment, where the world fades away, leaving only this gentle stillness as vast and endless as the sky above. A story drifts through the quiet, simple yet profound, shared by a Zen master who lived with the rhythms of the earth and sky. One evening, a young student approached him, troubled and restless. "Master," the student asked, "I have tried so many things to quiet my mind, to find peace. But no matter how hard I try, my thoughts keep coming like waves crashing against the shore. How can I ever find the peace I seek?" The master, who had lived many years in quiet observation, did not answer right away. He simply led the student to the edge of a tranquil lake, its surface reflecting the sky above. The master motioned for the student to sit beside him, and together they watched the still water undisturbed. "Look at the water," the master said, pointing gently. "It is calm now, but what happens when a stone is thrown into it?" The student watched as the master dropped a small stone into the lake. The surface rippled, and the reflection of the trees wavered for a moment before the water slowly returned to its stillness. "The stone creates ripples," the student said. "It disturbs the calm." The master nodded. "Yes, your thoughts are like the stone. When they arise, they create ripples in the mind. But notice this, the water always returns to stillness once the ripples fade. Peace is not found in stopping the ripples, but in letting them come and go. It is in the acceptance of their movement that the stillness arises again." The student sat in silence, contemplating the master's words. Slowly, he began to understand. The peace he sought was not something to force or attain. It was already present beneath the ripples within the stillness of his own mind. All he had to do was stop fighting, to stop striving, and simply allow the thoughts to pass. As you sit now, think of the still lake. How often do you try to stop your thoughts, to force them away, thinking that peace is something to achieve? What if peace is not found in controlling your thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go, the ripples on the water? What if, in the spaces between your thoughts, there is a quiet, unshaken stillness waiting for you to notice? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to fight or control. Allow your thoughts to rise, then fade, just as the ripples in the water do. There is no need to grasp at them, no need to push them away. In their passing, the stillness remains always there, always waiting. You are not your thoughts. You are the calm beneath them, the stillness that holds everything. Simply rest here in this quiet knowing that peace is always within you, ready to arise whenever you allow it. The night wraps around you, soft and endless, as though the universe itself has paused to rest with you. There is no rush, no need to move forward. You are here, completely present, held in the stillness of this moment. The The world outside fades away, and in this peaceful silence you are fully at home. A story comes quietly, like the sound of a distant bell. It is the story of a Zen master who spent his days in quiet reflection by the edge of a peaceful river. He was known for his ability to stay present, to be fully at peace with whatever came his way. One day, a young student came to him, restless and full of questions. "Master," the student said, "I have been practicing meditation for a long time, but my mind is still unsettled. How can I find peace when my thoughts are so constant?" The master, who had long known the wisdom of stillness, did not answer immediately. He led the student to the river where they sat quietly by the bank. The water flowed gently, its surface shifting slightly with each small ripple. "Look at the river," the master said, pointing. "See how it moves, how it flows around every obstacle in its path. The river does not try to stop the rocks or control the current. It simply flows naturally without resistance." The student watched the water, observing how it passed smoothly around stones, always flowing, always moving. "But Master," the student asked, "my mind is like the river, constantly moving, constantly changing. How can I find peace if my thoughts never stop?" The master smiled and said, "The river does not resist the rocks in its path. It simply flows with them around them. In the same way, you do not need to stop your thoughts. You do not need to fight them. Peace is found when you stop resisting the flow of your mind. Let the thoughts come and go as they will, like the river. And in that flow, you will find stillness." The student sat quietly, watching the water as it moved around the rocks. He realized that peace was not something to fight, for something to control. It was something to allow, something to recognize in the natural flow of things. His mind, like the river, was always moving, and that was okay. Peace was found not in stopping the movement, but in letting it be. As you sit now, reflect on the river. How often do you try to stop the flow of your thoughts, thinking that peace can only be found when the mind is still? What if peace is not found in the absence of thoughts, but in allowing them to flow freely without resistance, like the water in the river? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow your thoughts to come and go like the water flowing gently over the stones. There is no need to hold on to them or push them away. Just let them pass, and in the space between, there is peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness beneath them, the flow of the river itself. In this moment, you are at peace, just as the river is at peace in its natural flow. There is nothing to do, nothing to control. You are already whole, already complete, simply by being. The night continues to unfold with soft, effortless grace, as if time itself has slowed to match the rhythm of your breath. There is nothing to chase, nothing to force, only the gentle stillness of the moment, like the quiet depth of a lake under the moon's reflection. You are completely here, surrounded by peace, with no need for anything else. A story flows through this stillness, whispered by the wind. It speaks of a Zen master who lived alone on a quiet hilltop where the sky stretched endlessly above him. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a young student came to him, troubled by the noise of his thoughts. "Master," the student said, "I have been trying to quiet my mind. But every time I sit in meditation, I am overwhelmed by thoughts. How can I find peace when my mind is so restless?" The master, sitting quietly, did not speak immediately. He simply pointed to a large tree nearby, its branches swaying gently in the evening breeze. "Look at the tree," the master said. "The tree does not try to be still. It moves with the wind, swaying, bending, but it remains rooted in the earth. It does not resist the breeze. It simply allows the wind to move it. And in that movement, the tree remains strong, anchored in the ground." The student looked at the tree, watching the way its branches swayed, and then asked, "But Master, how can my mind be like the tree? How can I find peace if my thoughts move so wildly like the wind?" The master smiled softly, his gaze steady. "The tree does not fight the wind. It does not try to stop it. It simply moves with it, bending and flowing. In the same way, your thoughts are like the wind, constant moving. Peace is not found in stopping the movement of your thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the breeze. Do not resist them. Let them flow, and you, like the tree, will remain rooted in stillness." The student sat quietly, taking in the master's words. As the wind rustled the branches of the tree, the student realized that peace was not something to force or control. It was something to allow, something to surrender to. The thoughts would come and go like the wind, but beneath them, there was a deep stillness waiting to be noticed. As you sit, now think of the tree. How often do you try to stop the thoughts, to control them, to make your mind still? What if instead of fighting, you could allow your thoughts to move like the wind without resistance, knowing that peace is not in stopping them, but in allowing them to pass? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, release any effort, any need to control. Let your thoughts come and go like the wind moving through the branches. In the spaces between, there is stillness. In the quiet of your heart, there is peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the calm, the stillness beneath the movement. You are the tree, rooted and steady, allowing the winds of life to flow through you without disturbance. In this moment, you are at peace. Simply be, and in that being, you will find everything you need. The night deepens and the quiet swells as if the universe is holding its breath with you. The world outside feels distant now, and in this sacred stillness, there is nothing more to do, nothing to seek. Just this moment unfolding gently with each breath, filling you with a sense of calm that is soft yet unwavering. A story stirs in the quiet, like a faint whisper that rises from within. It is the story of a Zen master who spent his life living, simply observing the world around him with deep presence and acceptance. One day, a student came to him, burdened by the weight of many thoughts. "Master," the student asked, I have meditated, practiced, and tried everything I can think of to find peace. But my mind still races, my heart is still restless. How can I be at peace? The master, whose presence was always calm, did not answer right away. Instead, he motioned for the student to walk with him. Together they walked to a quiet field where the grass swayed gently in the breeze, the scent of earth and flowers filling the air. The master pointed to the grass and asked, "What do you see?" The student looked closely at the field. "The grass moves with the wind," he said, "but it doesn't resist it. It bends and flows, but it always returns to the earth." The master nodded, his eyes steady. Yes, the grass does not struggle against the wind. It simply moves with it, allowing the breeze to pass. In the same way, your thoughts will come and go. They are like the wind. You cannot control them, and you do not need to. Peace is found when you stop resisting the flow, when you allow your thoughts to come and go like the wind without attachment. The student stood still, feeling the breeze on his skin, and for the first time he understood. He had been fighting against the flow of his thoughts, trying to control them, and in doing so had only created more resistance. Peace was not in stopping the thoughts. It was in allowing them to pass like the wind through the grass. As you sit now, reflect on the grass. How often do you fight against the flow of your thoughts, believing that peace can only be found when the mind is still? What if peace is not in the absence of thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the wind moving through the grass? What if in the space between thoughts, there is a quiet, unshaken stillness? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to control or resist. Allow your thoughts to flow naturally, without judgment, without attachment. Just as the grass moves with the wind, let your mind move with the flow of life. In that movement, peace will arise. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness beneath them, the space that holds everything unchanged and unshaken. Simply rest in this moment, knowing that peace is always with you, always within you, waiting to be recognized. The night stretches on its silence deeper than before, as if the entire universe has paused to let you rest in this stillness. There is nothing left to seek, nothing to change. The world around you feels distant, and all that matters is this moment unfolding gently with each breath. You are held grounded in the present, a quiet peace that fills the space within and without. A story rises like a soft ripple on a calm sea. It is the story of a Zen master who spent his days in a small temple by a peaceful lake, observing the rhythm of the natural world. One day, a student burdened with the weight of many questions came to him, seeking answers. "Master," the student said, "I have been searching for peace for so long. I have meditated and practiced, but my mind is still unsettled. How can I find peace when my thoughts never stop?" The master, who had known the tranquility of the lake and the steady rhythms of life, did not speak at first. He simply led the student to the edge of the water where the lake lay still and undisturbed, reflecting the sky above. After a long pause, the master spoke. "Look at the water. It is calm. But if a stone is thrown into it, what happens?" The student watched as the master gently dropped a stone into the water, creating ripples that disturbed the stillness. "The water becomes disturbed," the student said. "Exactly," the master replied. "Your thoughts are like the stone. When they arise, they disturb the stillness of the mind. But notice this, the water does not resist the stone. It simply allows the ripples to pass, and in time the water returns to its natural stillness." The student sat beside the lake, watching the water slowly return to its calm state. In that moment, he understood. Peace was not about stopping the thoughts, but about letting them come and go without attachment, without resistance. Just as the water does not fight the ripples, the mind does not need to fight the thoughts. Peace arises when we allow the thoughts to pass, and in the spaces between, there is the stillness we seek. As you sit now, reflect on the lake. How often do you try to stop the ripples of your thoughts, pushing them away, trying to control them? What if peace is not found in stopping the thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the ripples on the water? What if in the spaces between your thoughts, there is the stillness that has always been there, waiting for you to notice? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of any need to control, any need to stop the thoughts. Let them come and go like the ripples on the lake, knowing that they are not you. You are the stillness beneath them, the quiet space that holds everything in peace. The world may continue to flow around you, but here in this moment, you are at peace. Simply rest in the knowing that peace is not something to chase. It is always here, always within you, waiting to be recognized. The night continues deep and serene as the silence wraps itself around you, warm and comforting. Time seems to slow, becoming almost unimportant, as if the very essence of peace is stretching out into infinity. In this moment, there is no need to move, to do, or to seek. There is only the quiet rhythm of your breath, the gentle flow of the present, and the deep peace that envelops you. A new story arises in the stillness carried by the quiet of the night. It speaks of a Zen master, a wise teacher known for his calm demeanor, who spent his days walking slowly through a quiet village. One day, a student approached him, troubled by the noise in his mind. "Master," the student asked, "I have tried everything to find peace, but my mind is always restless. How can I find the calm I seek when my thoughts never stop?" The master, who had lived for many years with the rhythm of nature, looked at the student and then gently motioned for him to follow. Together they walked to a small garden where the master sat beneath a tree. The student sat beside him, waiting for the master to speak. After a moment, the master pointed to a leaf falling from the tree above. "Watch the leaf," he said. The student watched as the leaf fluttered gently to the ground, moving with the wind, without struggle, without resistance. See how the leaf does not resist the wind, the master asked. It simply lets the wind carry it. It moves with the flow, allowing itself to fall naturally. The student nodded, still unsure. But Master, my thoughts are like the wind. They are always coming and going, and I cannot stop them. How can I find peace if I cannot quiet my mind? The Master smiled gently. You are like the leaf. Your thoughts will come and go just as the wind moves the leaves. Peace is not found in stopping the wind or controlling the leaf. It is found in allowing the thoughts to come and go without attachment, without resistance. Like the leaf, you do not need to fight the wind. Simply let your thoughts pass, and in the space between you will find peace. The student sat in silence, watching the leaf fall to the ground. And in that moment, he realized that peace was not something to chase or grasp. It was already here within him, always present, waiting for him to let go and allow it to emerge. As you sit now, think of the leaf. How often do you fight the flow of your thoughts, trying to stop them, wishing for them to be still? What if peace is not about controlling the thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the leaf carried by the wind? What if in the spaces between your thoughts there is stillness, just like the calm that follows the fall of the leaf? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow your thoughts to come and go naturally, without resistance. There is no need to fight them. Simply allow them to pass, knowing that they are not you. You are the stillness that remains beneath them, the peace that is always present when you stop fighting. In this moment, you are at peace. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. You are already whole, already calm, simply by being. The night deepens further, and the peace that surrounds you grows even more profound. There is no rush, no pressure to be anywhere else, no desire to do anything other than simply rest in this moment. Time feels distant, as if it too is allowing you to sink into the quiet. You are completely present, held by the stillness that surrounds you, as soft as the air itself. A new story rises in the stillness, as gentle as the movement of a breeze through the trees. It speaks of a Zen master who in the later years of his life had spent much time alone by a quiet river, observing the rhythm of the world. One day, a student approached him, troubled by his restless thoughts. "Master," the student said, "I cannot find peace. My mind is always busy, my thoughts always racing. How can I calm my mind and find the stillness I seek?" The master, who had spent years sitting by the river in silence, did not answer right away. He simply motioned for the student to sit beside him. Together they watched the river flow gently over the stones, its waters moving without effort. "Look at the river," the master said. "It flows smoothly without resistance. The water does not try to move faster or slower. It simply flows naturally over the rocks in its path." The student watched the river and then said, "But Master, my mind is like the rocks in the river. It feels like the thoughts come and get stuck, disturbing the flow of peace I am trying to find. The master smiled gently. The water does not fight the rocks. It simply moves around them, allowing them to be there without resistance. The river does not try to control the rocks. It just flows as it is, and in that flow, the water remains peaceful. The student sat silently contemplating the master's words. Slowly, he began to understand. Peace was not about stopping the thoughts, nor was it about fighting them. It was about moving with them, just as the river moves with the rocks, allowing them to pass without resistance. Peace was already there beneath the surface, waiting for him to let go of the struggle. As you sit now, think of the river. How often do you try to stop the flow of your thoughts, wishing for them to be gone or still? What if peace is not found in stopping the thoughts, but in allowing them to move, just like the water moving around the rocks? What if in the space between your thoughts, there is a stillness that has always been there, waiting for you to notice it? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, release the need to control your thoughts. Let them flow naturally, knowing that, like the river, they will come and go. In the spaces between, there is peace. In the flow, there is calm. You are not your thoughts. You are the quiet presence that holds them. You are the stillness beneath the surface, always here, always waiting. The night continues to stretch on its silence, deep and comforting, wrapping you in the tranquility of the present moment. The world outside is distant now, and all that remains is the peaceful rhythm of your breath, steady and slow, guiding you deeper into the stillness that fills the space around you. You are here, and here is enough. A story rises softly, carried by the silence. It is a story of a Zen master who lived on the side of a mountain in a small temple surrounded by trees and a peaceful stream. One day, a young monk came to him, troubled by the constant noise of his thoughts. "Master," the monk said, "I meditate every day, but my mind is always busy. I can't seem to find peace. How can I still my mind?" The master, who had spent many years in deep contemplation, did not answer immediately. Instead, he led the monk to the stream that ran beside the temple. The water flowed gently over the rocks, its surface reflecting the trees above. The master motioned for the monk to sit by the water's edge. "Look at the stream," the master said. "Do you see how it moves? It flows over the stones around them without resistance." The monk nodded, watching the water move around the rocks. "The stream does not try to stop the rocks," the master continued. "It simply moves with them. It flows naturally without struggle." The monk sat in silence, reflecting on the master's words. "But master," he said, "my thoughts are like the rocks. They are obstacles, and I cannot seem to move past them." The master smiled gently. "The stream does not resist the rocks. It does not try to change them. It simply allows them to be there, and in that acceptance, the stream continues to flow." In the same way, peace is found not in stopping the thoughts, but in accepting them as they are. Allow them to flow by like the water moving around the stones. Do not try to change them, but let them come and go, and you will find the stillness beneath them. The monk sat quietly watching the water, and in that silence, he began to understand. Peace was not about forcing the thoughts to stop. It was about allowing them to pass without attachment, without resistance. The stream flowed effortlessly, and in that flow there was peace. As you sit now, think of the stream. How often do you try to stop your thoughts, fighting against them, trying to push them away? What if peace is not found in stopping them, but in allowing them to come and go like the water flowing around the rocks? What if in the space between your thoughts, there is a deep, quiet stillness waiting for you to notice it? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, release any need to control your thoughts. Allow them to come and go like the water in the stream. In the spaces between your thoughts, there is peace. In the flow, there is calm. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness beneath them, the quiet presence that holds everything in peace. Simply rest here, knowing that peace is always within you, always ready to emerge when you let go of the struggle. The night continues to unfold, calm and endless, as if the very fabric of time has softened to allow you to rest deeply. There is no pressure, no expectation. You are here fully present, held in the embrace of stillness. Each breath you take seems to deepen the peace that already fills this moment, as the world beyond becomes distant, and all that remains is this quiet, this calm, this serenity. A story rises from the stillness like a gentle breeze. It is the story of a Zen master known for his deep insight and peaceful presence. One evening, a student came to him, troubled by the incessant chatter in his mind. "Master," the student asked, "I cannot find peace. I meditate, I try to still my mind, but my thoughts keep coming like waves crashing against the shore. How can I quiet my mind?" The master, who had spent many years in meditation and silence, did not answer immediately. He motioned for the student to follow him, and together they walked in silence to a small pond where the moonlight reflected softly on the water's surface. The master pointed to the water, saying, "Look at the pond. What do you see?" The student looked at the still water, its surface calm and reflective. "The water is still," the student said. The master nodded. "Yes, but notice that the surface is always calm. It is the reflection of the moon. The water does not move unless disturbed. Now, if a stone is thrown into the water, what happens?" The student watched as the master dropped a small stone into the pond. The water rippled, and the moon's reflection wavered for a moment, before the ripples gradually faded and the surface became calm again. "The stone disturbs the water," the student said. The master smiled gently. "And so it is with your thoughts. When a thought arises, it creates ripples in the mind, just as the stone creates ripples in the water. But notice this: the water returns to stillness once the ripples fade. So too can your mind. Peace is not found in forcing the thoughts to stop, but in allowing them to pass without clinging to them. Let them arise and fade like the ripples on the water, and in that flow you will find peace. The student sat quietly contemplating the master's words. Slowly he began to understand. Peace was not something to force or strive for. It was found in allowing the thoughts to come and go without resistance, without attachment, just as the water allows the ripples to pass without struggling. As you sit now, reflect on the pond. How often do you try to control your thoughts, forcing them to be still? What if peace is not found in stopping the thoughts, but in allowing them to pass like the ripples on the water? What if in the spaces between your thoughts there is a deep, natural stillness waiting for you to notice? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to control. Allow your thoughts to come and go, knowing that they are not you. You are the stillness beneath them, the calm that remains once the ripples fade. In this moment, you are at peace. Simply rest in the quiet of this moment, knowing that peace is always here, always within you, waiting for you to allow it. The night continues to stretch on each breath you take, pulling you deeper into the quiet, peaceful presence of this moment. There is nothing to chase, nothing to strive for, only this soft stillness surrounding you, holding you gently in its embrace. The world outside has faded away, leaving only the quiet rhythm of your breath and the calm that fills the space within and around you. A story rises in the stillness, soft and gentle, as if it too has been waiting for the right moment to unfold. It is the story of a Zen master who spent his days sitting in silence by the side of a river, watching the flow of the water and listening to the sounds of the world. One day a student came to him, troubled by the constant noise in his mind. "Master," the student said, "I have tried everything to quiet my mind. I meditate, I practice, but my thoughts are always there like waves crashing against the shore. How can I find peace when my mind is so restless?" The master, who had long known the quiet of the river, did not answer immediately. He simply led the student to the water's edge, where the river flowed gently over the rocks, its surface occasionally disturbed by a passing breeze. "Look at the river," the master said. "See how it moves, how it flows over the stones without resistance, without hesitation." The student watched the river, observing how it moved around the rocks, flowing naturally, without trying to fight the obstacles in its path. "But master," the student said, "the river doesn't seem to struggle. It flows freely without effort. My mind is like the rocks, always interrupting the flow, always in the way." The master smiled gently. "Your mind, like the river, moves naturally. Thoughts come and go like the water flowing over the stones. But the river does not fight the rocks. It simply flows with them around them. In the same way, you do not need to fight your thoughts. You do not need to resist them. Peace is found when you allow your thoughts to come and go without attachment. Let them pass like the river moving around the rocks." The student sat quietly contemplating the master's words. He realized that peace was not about trying to control his thoughts, but about allowing them to flow naturally without resistance. The thoughts, like the rocks, would always be there, but the river of peace flowed effortlessly when he allowed them to pass. As you sit now, think of the river. How often do you try to stop the flow of your thoughts, fighting against them, wishing for them to be still? What if peace is not found in controlling your thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the water flowing around the rocks? What if in the spaces between your thoughts, there is a deep stillness, just like the calm water beneath the surface of the river? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, allow your thoughts to pass like the water flowing around the rocks. There is no need to fight them. Simply let them go, knowing that peace is already here, always present beneath the surface of your mind. In this moment, you are at peace. You are the river flowing gently, naturally around the rocks. Simply rest in the knowing that peace is always within you, always available when you stop struggling. The night deepens even further, and with it, the stillness around you feels more profound, like the very fabric of time has slowed, giving you space to rest, to be. The air is cool yet warm with the presence of quiet. Every breath you take fills you with a deepening sense of peace, as if the world itself has stopped to rest with you. A new story arises like a soft ripple in the still waters of your mind. It speaks of a Zen master who lived by the edge of a vast empty field. He was known for his ability to sit in stillness, unaffected by the world around him. One day a student came to him, troubled by the restlessness in his heart. "Master," the student asked, "I try to find peace, but my mind is always running, always searching for something more. How can I find the peace I long for?" The master, who had spent his days observing the world in its simplest form, did not answer right away. He simply motioned for the student to walk with him, and they strolled together across the open field, their footsteps soft against the earth. After a long silence, the master stopped and pointed to the sky above. "Look at the sky," he said. "It is vast and open. No matter how many clouds pass through the sky, never changes. It simply holds everything without resistance, without grasping." The student looked up at the sky, noticing the clouds drifting by, moving without effort, passing through the openness of the sky. "Your thoughts," the master continued, "are like the clouds. They will come and go, but the sky remains the same. Peace is not found in stopping the thoughts, but in allowing them to pass through the mind, just as the clouds pass through the sky. When you stop identifying with them, when you stop grasping at them, you will find that the sky remains clear, still, and vast." The student sat in silence, the master's words settling deep within him. In that moment, he understood. Peace was not about forcing the mind to be still or quiet. It was about allowing the thoughts to come and go like clouds in the sky, and recognizing the stillness that remained like the sky itself, unchanged. As you sit now, think of the sky. How often do you try to stop your thoughts, to fight against them, believing that peace can only be found in their absence? What if peace is not in stopping the thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the clouds passing through the sky? What if in the spaces between thoughts, there is a vast, quiet stillness that has always been there? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, release any need to control your thoughts. Allow them to come and go without resistance, without judgment. In the space between you will find peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the sky, vast and open, holding everything in its natural stillness. The world may continue to move, but here in this moment, you are anchored in the peace that is always within you. Simply rest, knowing that peace is already present, just as the sky is always above, regardless of the clouds. The night continues to unfold around you, quiet and vast, like an endless expanse stretching into the horizon. There is no need for anything, no desire to move or change. Everything is as it is, and it is enough. Each breath deepens your connection to the stillness, filling you with a quiet peace that grows with every passing moment. A story flows gently into your awareness, like a soft stream winding through a quiet valley. It is the story of a Zen master who spent his days meditating beneath the shade of a large tree, watching the world with a calm, attentive gaze. One day, a young student came to him, his heart full of questions and doubt. "Master," the student asked, "I have been meditating for many years, but I still cannot find peace. My thoughts are like a whirlwind, always spinning, always moving. How can I still my mind?" The master, who had long known the wisdom of stillness, did not answer immediately. He simply motioned for the student to sit beside him, and together they gazed at the tree in front of them. The leaves rustled gently in the breeze, but the tree itself remained steady, rooted in the earth. "Look at the tree," the master said. "It does not try to control the wind. The wind blows as it will, but the tree simply stands firm, its roots deep in the earth. It does not resist the wind, nor does it fight the forces around it. It simply is." The student looked closely at the tree, noticing how it moved with the wind, bending but never breaking. "But Master," the student asked, "how can my mind be like the tree? My thoughts are always in motion like the wind. How can I find peace in such restlessness?" The master smiled gently. "The tree does not stop the wind, nor does it try to control it. It simply allows the wind to pass through it. In the same way, your thoughts will come and go. You do not need to stop them. You need only to allow them to pass like the wind through the branches of the tree. Peace is found not in fighting the wind, but in simply being present with it, letting it move through you without resistance." The student sat quietly contemplating the master's words. In that moment, he realized that peace was not something to attain, but something to allow. Just as the tree stands firm, allowing the wind to pass, so too could he stand firm, allowing his thoughts to pass without attachment. As you sit now, reflect on the tree. How often do you try to stop your thoughts, wishing they would be still, believing that peace is only found when the mind is quiet? What if peace is found not in controlling the thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go like the wind through the tree? What if in the spaces between thoughts there is a stillness that is always with you, waiting to be noticed? Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, release any effort to control or resist. Allow your thoughts to move like the wind, knowing that they do not define you. You are the tree, steady and rooted in the quiet of your own being. The world may continue to move, but here in this moment, you are grounded in the peace that is always within you. Simply be, and in that being, peace will naturally arise. The night stretches on the silence, deep and unbroken, as if time itself has slowed, allowing you to fully rest in the present moment. There is no rush, no need to do anything or go anywhere. Only the quiet rhythm of your breath guiding you gently deeper into the peaceful stillness that surrounds you. A story rises soft and clear, like the reflection of the moon on a calm lake. It is the story of a Zen master who had spent many years in contemplation by a quiet river. One day, a young student came to him filled with doubt and confusion. "Master," the student said, "I have spent years meditating, trying to still my mind, but it is always restless. How can I find peace when my thoughts keep coming like waves crashing against the shore?" The master, who had long known the wisdom of stillness, did not answer immediately. He simply motioned for the student to follow him, and together they walked to the edge of the river. The water flowed gently over the stones, its surface still except for the occasional ripple. "Look at the river," the master said. "It moves effortlessly, flowing over the rocks and around the obstacles in its path. It does not fight the rocks. It simply moves with them, flowing naturally." The student watched the river for a moment, then asked, "But master, my thoughts are like the rocks, always blocking the flow of peace. How can I ever find stillness in such a restless mind?" The master smiled gently. "The river does not resist the rocks. It flows around them. In the same way, you do not need to fight your thoughts. You do not need to stop them. Peace is found in allowing your thoughts to flow just as the river flows around the rocks. Do not try to control them. Let them pass, and in that passing you will find the stillness beneath them." The student sat by the river, watching the water flow effortlessly, and in that moment, he understood. Peace was not about forcing his mind to be still. It was about allowing the thoughts to come and go like the water moving around the rocks without resistance. And in that flow, he would find the peace he sought. As you sit now, reflect on the river. How often do you try to stop your thoughts, to control them, believing that peace will only come when the mind is still? What if peace is found in allowing your thoughts to come and go like the river flowing around the rocks? What if in the spaces between your thoughts, there is a stillness that is always there, waiting for you to notice it? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to control. Allow your thoughts to flow naturally, knowing that they are like the river's current, always moving, but never truly disturbing the stillness beneath. In that movement, you will find peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the calm, the space that holds them just as the river holds the water. Simply rest in the quiet of this moment, knowing that peace is already within you, always available when you allow it. The night deepens and the stillness around you grows even more profound, like the gentle embrace of the universe itself, holding you in its peace. Time seems to stand still, and with each breath you sink deeper into this quiet space where there is nothing to do, nothing to seek. All that exists is the present moment, unfolding slowly, quietly. A story rises softly, carried on the calm breeze of the night. It is the story of a Zen master who lived in a small village known for his calm and deep wisdom. One day, a young monk came to him, burdened with worries and questions. "Master," the monk said, "I have spent many years meditating, trying to find peace, but my thoughts never stop. They come and go like waves in the ocean. How can I find stillness when my mind is in constant motion?" The master, who had spent many years in silence, did not respond immediately. He simply led the monk to a quiet, secluded spot by the ocean. They stood together on the shore, watching the waves roll in gently, one after another. "Look at the waves," the master said. "Do they try to stop their movement? Do they fight against the current?" The monk watched the waves, noticing how they moved without resistance, coming and going naturally. "No, master," the monk replied, "they do not fight. They just flow with the ocean." The master nodded. "And so it is with your thoughts. They will come and go like the waves in the ocean. You cannot stop them, and you do not need to. Peace is found not in stopping the waves, but in allowing them to rise and fall without resistance. When you stop struggling against your thoughts, you will find that the stillness beneath them is always present." The monk sat quietly watching the ocean. Slowly, the realization began to settle in his heart. Peace was not found in forcing the mind to be still. It was found in allowing the thoughts to come and go like the waves and resting in the stillness that is always beneath them. As you sit now, think of the ocean. How often do you try to control the waves of your thoughts, wishing for them to be still? What if peace is not found in stopping the waves, but in allowing them to pass naturally, like the waves on the ocean? What if in the spaces between thoughts, there is a deep stillness always present, always waiting for you to notice? Breathe deeply, and with each breath allow your thoughts to come and go like the waves in the ocean. There is no need to stop them, no need to resist. Just let them flow, and in the space between there is peace. You are not your thoughts. You are the stillness beneath them, the ocean that holds them. In this moment, you are at peace. Simply rest in the quiet, knowing that peace is always within you, always available when you let go of the struggle. The night deepens, and the peace around you becomes even more profound, as though the entire universe is wrapped in a quiet, waiting embrace. There is no need to move, no need to do anything, only the soft rhythm of your breath guiding you deeper into the stillness. The world beyond this moment seems distant, and in the calm, everything feels just right. A new story rises softly in the silence, like a gentle echo from the past. It speaks of a Zen master who had lived many years in solitude studying the natural world with quiet attention. One day, a student came to him restless and anxious, burdened with questions that weighed heavily on his heart. "Master," the student said, "I have been meditating for years, but my mind is still filled with distractions. I cannot find peace. How can I calm my restless thoughts?" The master, who had long known the deep peace of silence, did not answer immediately. He simply gestured for the student to follow him to a nearby garden. They walked together, and as they arrived, the master pointed to a flower blooming in the sunlight. "Look at this flower," the master said. "It does not try to bloom. It simply grows, allowing the sunlight to touch it, the rain to nourish it, and the earth to support it. It does not rush, nor does it force its growth. It simply allows itself to be as it is." The student watching the flower asked, "But master, my thoughts are like the wind. They come and go constantly, disturbing my mind. How can I find peace when my thoughts are so restless?" The master smiled softly. "The flower does not resist the wind. It bends gently with it, but it does not fight against it. In the same way, your thoughts will come and go like the wind. You do not need to stop them, just as the flower does not try to stop the wind. Peace is not found in resisting the thoughts, but in allowing them to pass, just as the flower allows the wind to pass through it." The student sat quietly watching the flower sway in the breeze. Slowly, he understood. Peace was not found in trying to force the mind to be still. It was found in allowing the thoughts to come and go without attachment, just as the flower allowed the wind to move through it. As you sit now, reflect on the flower. How often do you try to stop your thoughts, thinking that peace will only come when the mind is still? What if peace is not found in stopping your thoughts, but in allowing them to come and go naturally, like the wind passing through the flower? What if in the spaces between thoughts, there is a deep, quiet stillness just waiting for you to notice? Breathe deeply, and with each breath, let go of the need to control your thoughts. Allow them to come and go without resistance. In the spaces between thoughts, there is peace. In the natural flow of the mind, there is stillness. You are not your thoughts. You are the peaceful space in which they arise, the calm that remains beneath the movement. Simply rest here in the quiet of the moment, knowing that peace is already within you, always waiting to be recognized. The night has unfolded, and with it a quiet, profound peace fills the space within and around you. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to do. Only this moment, this gentle rhythm of your breath and the stillness that you are. As the world outside fades away, remember peace is always here beneath the surface of the mind, within the quiet spaces between thoughts. You have simply allowed yourself to rest in this presence. In these moments, there is nothing to change, nothing to grasp, only the calm that already exists within you. And if you're still awake, that's okay too. Some nights just lying still and breathing softly is enough to return home to yourself. Good night.